starting by showing Tobirama Senju a summary of Naruto. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyright or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 251. Nagato disappears, Kamugaku retreats. The fourth Hokage's body is very strong. Although he is not as strong as his father, he is definitely the best in the current ninja world. It is precisely because of such a strong body that when thousands of detonating tags exploded almost at the same time, Hokage was not killed. Puff the smoke dissipated, and Hokage was squatting on the ground and spitting blood. There were red and black spots all over his body from high temperature burns, which looked quite hideous. Damn it, after spitting out another mouthful of blood, Hokage gasped for breath. This injury was the most serious injury he had suffered since he was born. Fortunately, he did not lose any limbs. As long as he recuperated for a period of time afterwards, he would always be able to recover. But, will Konan let him leave? Being an enemy of Nagato is being an enemy of her. She will not be merciful to her enemies. You're lucky. This didn't kill you. But your luck is about to end. I'm going to send you to hell. In the sky, Shonen opened her right hand upwards, and pieces of paper began to split from her body. Above her head, a huge spear gradually formed. As long as Shonen waved her hand, the spear would pierce through the body of Hokage. Go to hell, fourth Hokage. As soon as the voice fell, just as Shonen was about to make the final fatal blow to Hokage, she suddenly felt that Nagato's chakra was rapidly dissipating. Nagato. Knowing that something was wrong with Nagato, Shonen didn't care about Hokage, and immediately merged the paper spear into her body again, and then began to fly quickly towards the hiding place of him and Nagato. How it seems that I'm not destined to die. Seeing Shonen leave, Hokage was relieved. He thought he would really die here. He never wanted to experience this feeling of being a fish on the chopping board again. Lord Hokage, let's leave quickly. 11, who was kicked out of the explosion range by Hokage with his skillful strength, also quickly came to the side of Hokage and helped him up. Enduring the severe pain, Hokage said to 11, notified Eri and others, we will retreat immediately. Retreat? Should we notify the other 4 major ninja villages? Don't worry about them, we will retreat. Yes, Lord Hokage. Shonen returned to the outside of Nagato's hiding place in a panic. At this time, she could no longer sense Nagato's chakra. No, Nagato will be fine. Feeling bad, Shonen entered the hiding place in a panic. No. Nagato, where are you, Nagato? Nagato, who was supposed to be here, disappeared. Shonen was like crazy, looking for Nagato's traces everywhere in this small area. After searching carefully for a while, she found nothing except a pool of blood on the ground. Who did it? The blood on the ground was enough to show that Nagato was in great danger. Fortunately, Jiraiya-sensei still has the ability to resurrect. When Konan thought that even if Nagato died, he could still be resurrected, her mood immediately improved a lot. However, she was still very angry. Angry that she did not protect Nagato well. Angry of this mysterious enemy who captured Nagato and even killed Nagato. Don't let me know who it is, or I will definitely blow you up and avenge Nagato. After packing up a little, Konan spread her wings and flew towards Konoha. Among the 5 major ninja villages, the first to start fighting was the Hidden Cloud village. And with the disappearance of Nagato and the evacuation of Konan, the first to end the battle was the Hidden Cloud village before the other 4 ninja villages started fighting. Hokage was unethical and did not inform the other 4 major ninja villages before he began to retreat. He did not share information with the intention of consuming the other 4 major ninja villages. His idea was also roughly realized. When facing Didora, the Uegaku village wanted to persuade him to return to the village through words. But Didora didn't care about that. He immediately took out a big bomb and killed 2 slightly careless Uegaku-jinen on the spot. The situation on the Sand village was similar. Facing the Red Sand Scorpion, Kyo wanted to repay her precious grandson with family affection. But under the ruthless attack of Scorpion, Kyo had no choice but to leave the Sand ninjas to start fighting. On the Karigaku village side, Chojuro was under great pressure. Because he had to face the owner of Same Hada, Kizum, who was known as the tailed beast. The only thing to be thankful for was that Kizum seemed to still remember the old friendship and did not kill these Karigaku ninjas. Chojuro and Edo, seeing that they could not do anything to Kizum, also started to play fake games. Except for one unlucky guy who shamelessly wanted to challenge Kizum before the start and was killed, the rest of the Kurigaku ninjas all survived this tacitly agreed match. The most bizarre situation is still on the Konoha side. Fire style. Headache. Not long after entering the rain country, the team led by the 4th Hokage Minato Namikaze was attacked by Kakuzu. Water style. Water array wall facing Kakuzu's sneak attack. Kakashi's reaction speed was still very fast, and he immediately used water style to resist the attack of Headache. Seeing this, Kakuzu in the dark couldn't help but curse inwardly. He also wanted to kill 1 or 2 Konoha ninjas through sneak attacks in advance, so that he might have less pressure later. Unfortunately, this sneak attack was blocked by Kakashi. Kakashi-san, Minato-sama, Kushina-sama, father, brother, it's been a long time since we last met. Ashuma. Damn it, Itachi, what the hell do you mean? Don't I deserve a name? Kakuzu's sneak attack failed, and Itachi walked out of the dark alone. Looking at the group of people in front of him, Itachi's heart was also rippled. Itachi, are you sure you want to fight us? Sorry, Minato-sama, this is the leader's order, I can't refuse. Minato nodded, he felt what Itachi meant. The battle between the two sides was the intention of the leader of the Akatsuki organization, not his intention. In this case, let's fight. Fuku, Sasuke, Itachi is left to you, is there any problem? No problem. X2 Kushina, Kakashi, Ashuma, let's go meet the guy who just attacked us. This guy is so rude, he started the sneak attack without even saying hello, I will definitely teach him a lesson. Kakuzu in the dark was also very speechless when he heard Minato and Kushina say this. In his mind, he should only be able to fight against the 4th Hokage and one of Kakashi, Ashuma, and Kushina. That is, 1 against 2. But looking at the current situation, he is going to fight 4. Isn't this a scam? Also, who would say hello before a sneak attack? Is a sneak attack with a greeting still a sneak attack? Kushina. So, do you admit that you were impolite? Kakuzu. The next chapter should be around 8 o'clock. Chapter 252. The struggling Kakuzu. The sneak attack didn't work, so it's not a good idea to just waste time like this. His hiding place is not particularly concealed, and he will be found by Minato and others sooner or later. It's better to stand up openly. You know, whenever I fight with Konoha ninjas, I always think of the scene when I fought with your first generation Hokage. Kakuzu wanted to use this sentence to make Minato and others afraid. In the battle between ninjas, psychological warfare is also very important. The first generation Hokage, Senju Hashirama, is the god of ninjas. Those who can fight with the god of ninjas and survive can't be weak. Once the Konoha ninjas on the opposite side have such an understanding, perhaps Kakuzu can take some advantages in the next battle. However, when he finished speaking, he found that the 4 opponents were looking at him with strange faces. There was teasing, disdain, ridicule, and contempt. The only thing is that there is no expression of fear or solemnity. Mr. Kakuzu, you don't need to talk about the battle with the Shodami anymore. We all know about your throwing shuriken from 800 meters away. Minato, you're wrong. What 800 meters? Isn't it 800 miles? Kushina, 800 meters is a more reasonable distance. 800 miles is a bit exaggerated. Really? Kushina tilted her head, looked at Kakuzu jokingly, and said, how about Kakuzu, tell us, is it 800 meters or 800 miles? Asshole. At this moment, Kakuzu remembered the mocking words that Tsunade said to him when he was beating with Tsunade. Suddenly, Kakuzu began to get angry. Fighting with Hashirama Senju and not dying is the proudest thing in his life. Although the one who fought with Hashirama Senju was the word clone of Hashirama Senju, it was also very glorious. Now he heard the people of Konoha slandering him like this. Can Kakuzu tolerate this? You Konoha ninjas are so rude. Go to hell. Kakuzu used all his strength right from the start. Black lines continued to emerge behind him, and on his left and right shoulders, a monster wearing a mask appeared respectively. This appearance was exactly the Earth Grudge mode. Earth style. Earth Dragon Bullet Fire style. Head Hard Wind style. Suppression. In the Earth Grudge mode, Kakuzu can use multiple ninjutsu to attack at the same time. The difference is that there are only a few masked monsters fused on his body. Quick dodge. Facing 3 powerful ninjutsu attacks, Kakashi and Ashuma didn't even think of resisting. Konoha ninjas knew the power of compound ninjutsu better than anyone else. Especially Ashuma, who was called the 3rd Hokage, who was proficient in the 5 styles ninjutsu as his father. So Ashuma knew that using a single attribute defensive ninjutsu would definitely not be able to stop Kakuza's 3 styles ninjutsu attack. TSK running so fast. The attack power of the compound ninjutsu is indeed great, but if it can't hit anyone, no matter how powerful it is, it's useless. The moment Kakuza launched the attack, Minato pulled Kushina to avoid it with Flying Thunder God. Kakashi and Ashuma also dodged it very swiftly. Seeing that the first round of attack did not produce any results, Kakuza made a prompt decision and began to split the masked monsters on his body. To be on the safe side, he only split out the 3 masked monsters of water, wind, and thunder. He kept fire and earth. 2 hearts in his body, this is Kakuza's bottom line. Lightning style. Pseudo-darkness water style. Water curtain tent wind style. Vacuum wave. The 3 masked monsters were just split out, and without any pause, they directly attacked their respective opponents. With such a scattered attack, Kakashi and Ashuma didn't need to hide, and they all used defensive ninjutsu to block it. As for Minato, it was even simpler. Using Flying Thunder God, he placed Kushina on a safe tree, and then flashed again, appearing behind Kakuza's body. With his right hand slightly opened, the Rasengan took shape immediately. Minato attacked Kakuza's heart without hesitation. At the critical moment, the black lines behind Kakuza helped a lot. With these black lines blocking, Kakuza deviated slightly to the right when the Rasengan was about to attack his heart. Although he was still hit by the Rasengan, fortunately his heart was not damaged. This is really tricky. The Earth Grudge gave Kakuza a strong recovery ability. He was able to recover even after half of his body was smashed by Tsunade, and Kakuza didn't care about the injury of the Rasengan. He just stared at Minato with a serious expression, while using the black lines of the Earth Grudge to attack, harass, and defend, while thinking about how to break the situation. Should I say he is worthy of being called Yellow Flash? I have already devoted most of my energy to watching him, but he still managed to sneak up on me and almost destroyed my heart. Maybe I might die here today. The more he thought about it, the more pessimistic Kakuza became about the current situation. Fight head-on. Kakashi and Ashuma would distract him from focusing all his energy on Minato. Once he made a mistake, Minato would seize the opportunity to attack him. Just like what happened just now. Escape. Looking at the Flying Thunder God Kamei that were everywhere within a radius of dozens of meters, it would be strange if he could escape. He couldn't fight, and he couldn't run away. This situation was really terrible for Kakuza. I hope Itachi can help and resolve the battle as soon as possible, and then come to save me. Thinking of this, Kakuza looked at the place not far away where Itachi, Fuku and Sasuke were fighting. It would have been better if he hadn't looked at it. As soon as he saw it, Kakuza was so angry that his blood vessels almost burst. Asshole Itachi, I knew you were unreliable. No wonder Kakuza cursed at Itachi. He was fighting fiercely with Minato and others, but Itachi was as quiet as water. It would be fine if the 3 of them were competing in illusion. But from the way their lips opened and closed, it could be seen that they were just chatting and not competing in illusion. People really have to rely on themselves. Kakuza couldn't rely on Itachi. If he wanted to survive, the only way now was to force a breakthrough. Kushina was a little far away from him and he couldn't reach her. Minato's Flying Thunder God was extremely agile and he couldn't catch her. Kakashi opened his Sharingan and moved coquettishly, but he couldn't hit him. Kakuza had to set his sights on Ashuma, who looked ordinary. Ashuma. Damn, you think I'm easy to bully, right? Kakuza. Yes, among the 4 people present, you are the easiest to bully. Ashuma. Convex compound ninja technique. Storm dance. In order to survive, Kakuza began to control the masked monster to attack Ashuma. He completely ignored Kakashi and Minato. As long as he could tear open the breakthrough point of Ashuma, even if he lost 1, 2, 3 or 4 hearts, it would be worth it. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 253 Itachi. Yes, I betrayed again. Seeing the composite ninjutsu composed of water escape and wind escape attacking him, Ashuma immediately gave up the masked monster entangled with him and tried to dodge. However, the attack speed of the ninjutsu was too fast, and Ashuma could not dodge it in time. Seeing that he was about to be overwhelmed by the composite ninjutsu, Ashuma immediately shouted loudly, "Hokage, save me!" Shua golden light flashed, and when the ninjutsu was about to attack Ashuma, Minato saved Ashuma just in time. Ashuma, are you okay? I was really scared to death. I was almost killed. Thank you so much, the fourth Hokage. It's okay. The reason why I left the Flying Thunder God mark on you is not to deal with this situation. Thank you again, the fourth Hokage, but can you put me down first? Hearing Ashuma's reminder, Minato woke up from his dream and put down Ashuma, who had just been held in his arms as a princess. Sorry, Ashuma, I'm used to it. It's okay. After putting Ashuma down, Minato immediately ran to deal with Kakuza's body. However, there were already a lot of black lines surrounding Kakuza's body. It seemed that it would not work to use the routine of Flying Thunder God and Rasengan to attack. It's really troublesome. Seeing this, Minato also felt it was difficult. For an assassin-type ninja like Minato, there are two types of opponents that he is least good at dealing with. The first type is the third-generation Raikage AI, whose physical body is invincible. In the original work, the third-generation Raikage, who was brought out of the world by Orochimaru, had a physical body so strong that even Naruto's wind-style Rasengan Shuriken could not destroy it. If Minato was asked to deal with the third-generation Raikage, his choice would most likely be the same as Naruto's. When the third-generation Raikage used the upon Kanzao attack, he would use the Rasengan to attack the opponent's elbow, letting the opponent hit himself, thereby breaking the body with the strongest shield. The second type is probably like Kakuza, who is surrounded by black lines in all directions, and there is no place to kill with one strike. Should I use that? Looking at the situation of Ashuma and Kakashi, Minato was thinking about whether to use the power of the Nine Tails and the Sage Mode of Nyoboku Mountain. Whether it is using the chakra of the Nine Tails or the Sage Mode, it can greatly enhance Minato's strength. Needless to say, the Tailed Beast mode only needs one Tailed Beast ball to send Kakuza to the sky. In the Sage Mode, Minato can also use Sage Chakra to enhance the Rasengan. No matter which mode, Minato has the confidence to deal with Kakuza in a short time. However, Minato still has some concerns. The Nine Tails' attitude towards him is not very good. Forcing the use of the power of the Tailed Beast like Kushina would probably bring the relationship between the man and the beast to a freezing point. He is kind by nature and doesn't want to force the Nine Tails. As for the Sage Mode, Minato was not good at using it. He needed too long to gather the Sage Chakra, and he could not be disturbed during this period, otherwise all his efforts would be wasted. When Kakuza was attacking Kakashi and Ashuma frantically, Minato did not want to waste time to gather the Sage Chakra. What if Kakashi or Ashuma were in danger during this period? So, Minato was very entangled now. Minato, it seems that you have some troubles here. Fortunately, the development of the situation did not make Minato entangled for long. When Uchiha Fuku led Uchiha Itachi and Uchiha Sasuke to him, he knew that the battle was about to end. Yes, enemies like Kakuza can restrain me a little. Really? It seems that this man called Kakuza still has some skills, which can make you, the yellow flash, feel difficult. It can be seen that Fuku's very happy and pleased to talk Itachi back with his mouth. It would be great if he could not fight with his own son. What's more, he probably couldn't beat Itachi at this time. Because his pair of Mangekyou Sharingan was destroyed by Itachi after he committed suicide. After he was resurrected, he had just awakened his Sharingan not long ago, and only had one Magatama. Before taking action, he went to Orochimaru to get a pair of 3 Magatama Sharingan for himself. He installed them specially for the possibility of fighting with Itachi. Although the clone Sharingan is not as good as the original one in all aspects, 3 Magatama is 3 Magatama after all, and it is better than 1 Magatama in any way. And Itachi's Sharingan is at the level of Mangekyou. If they really fight, Fuku and Sasuke will definitely be very strenuous. Fuku is okay, he can rely on his combat experience to pull and look for opportunities. Sasuke is not. He is not the one who was trained by Orochimaru for 3 years in the original work. Even if he was at the time, if Itachi didn't let him go, he would not be able to defeat Itachi. So, it's really great not to fight with his son. Itachi, can you kill him? Hearing Fuku's words, Itachi nodded calmly and replied calmly, "No problem, father." "Then go ahead." Yes. Under Fuku's order, Itachi began to attack Kakuza. When Kakuza saw Itachi and Fuku standing together, he felt something was wrong. He immediately launched a series of ninjutsu attacks, hoping to kill Kakashi or Ashuma in this way and escape. Unfortunately, both Kakashi and Ashuma were extremely vigilant against Kakuza. When facing Kakuza's explosive ninjutsu bombardment, the two either dodged or used ninjutsu to defend. Although a little embarrassed, they managed to save their lives. Uchiha Itachi, I know you're unreliable. Just wait, I'll tell the leader when I escape. You're a traitor, a frigid man, a man with kidney deficiency. Seeing that Kakuza was getting more and more outrageous, Itachi didn't say much, just glared at him and asked Tobirama to serve him. Welcome to my world, where all factors including time, place, quality, etc. are under my control. I hope you can enjoy the next 72 hours. In Tobirama's illusion space, Kakuza was tied to a cross like Kakashi in the original work. Before Kakuza could say anything, Itachi started to execute him. Itachi pulled out a 1-meter-long knife from nowhere and stabbed it into Kakuza's abdomen bit by bit. Ah, it hurts, damn Uchiha Itachi, I will never let you go. Amid Kakuza's wailing, Itachi continued to stack Kakuza's body with one knife after another. I don't know how long it took, but Kakuza, who was already sweating profusely from being tortured, subconsciously asked, how much time has passed? Well, 1 second just passed, and there are 71 hours, 59 minutes, and 59 seconds left. Impossible, I've been stabbed so many times, why has only 1 second passed? I don't believe it. How about you look up and look around? Hearing this, Kakuza looked around him with an angry face. What? Kakuza and Itachi appeared densely around him. I told you, everything here is under my control. You don't think that 1 slash is 1 second, do you? The truth is, only after all of you here are stacked once, will 1 second pass. After saying that, Itachi ignored Kakuza, who was still in shock, and stabbed him again. Ah. According to my understanding, it was because of the great threat of the 10 tails that the N9 tails cooperated like this. There is also the Sage mode. Minato himself said that he was not good at Sage arts. I guess it was because of his impure world body, with infinite chakra and immortality, that he could instantly enter the Sage mode. Chapter 254 Kushina. It's been a long time, Obito. 72 hours passed in the illusion space of Tsukayama, but only a moment passed in reality. When Kakuza's consciousness returned to his real body, he suddenly felt that his brain was about to explode. He breathed heavily and hurriedly recalled the masked monster that had split off. Only when all the hearts were returned to one body could he feel safe at this moment. Asshole Uchiha Itachi, you. Itachi was still the same as before, not caring about Kakuza's insults at all. He calmly came to Kakuza and whispered, "Goodbye, Kakuza." After that, Itachi was ready to take action. Kakuza felt that he could still save him, and hurriedly said to Itachi, "Wait, do you remember? I also treated you to a meal." Facing Kakuza's dying struggle, Itachi did not show any expression. Amaterasu Itachi's eyes glared again, and a dark black flame emerged from his right eye and burned Kakuza. Kakuza was trapped in his own trap. If he hadn't gathered all the masked monsters that had split off into his body again for the so-called sense of security, he wouldn't have been completely helpless under the attack of Amaterasu's black flame. Ah, Uchiha Itachi, even if I go to hell, I will curse you. I curse you, and in the days to come, you will live a life worse than death. Amaterasu's black flame is very powerful. According to the setting, this is the strongest kind of flame in the ninja world. It can burn everything, and the black flame will not disappear until the target is burned out. However, such a powerful flame has a very poor record in the original work, and not even one person was burned to death. When burning Sasuke's substitute avoided it. When burning Killer Bee used an octopus tail as a substitute to escape. When burning the Raikage immediately cut off the burning arm. Burning Obito dodged it with Kamui. Burning Nagato after the impure world reincarnation, Nagato deflected it with Shinra Tensei. Burning the 10 tails split into 2 bodies to resolve it. Burning Uchiha Madara easily resolved it. Burning Kaguya absorbed it directly. Burning Naruto resolved it with Naruto's tailed beast coat. Looking at all the plots in the comics, Amaterasu's black flame only burned to death a white Zetsu whose main ability was reconnaissance, which was extremely bad. Now, Kakuza's experience can be regarded as a proof for Amaterasu's black flame. It's not that Amaterasu can't burn people, but that it didn't meet the right opponent. Don't you think so, Kakuza? Although Itachi killed Kakuza very lightly, after using Tsukayomi and Amaterasu in succession, his already poor health became even worse. Itachi, how do you feel? Looking at Itachi's eyes bleeding, Minato asked with a little concern. Not bad. After watching the video of Itachi's inventory on the light screen, Minato didn't believe what he said. But he didn't say much. His biological father was right next to him, and it was not his turn as an outsider to say anything. Kakashi, send a message to the other 4 ninja villages, saying that we have dealt with Kakuza and Itachi. Yes, Minato-sensei. After receiving the order, Kakashi began to summon the communication ninja eagles and let them pass the message. After Kakashi has delivered the message, you'll go back to Konoha first. Go back to Konoha? Ashuma asked with some doubts. Are we not going to the Hidden Rain village? Minato shook his head and replied. No, we Konoha have done our best in this operation. As for the matter of the Hidden Rain village, let the Hidden Cloud village and other ninja villages solve it. Hearing this, Ashuma also understood the meaning. This time, Konoha had the idea of working without doing anything, and the reason why Minato and others were sent here was just to show the other major ninja villages. Unexpectedly, it was precisely because Konoha's lineup was much stronger than that of other ninja villages that Nagato arranged Kakuza here and let the 2 sides fight. If Itachi was the only one here, even the battle could be saved. TSK, why do I feel that Kakuza's death is a bit unworthy? Laugh Minato, aren't you going back with us? Looking at Fuku who was supporting him and standing unsteadily, Minato replied. You go back first, Kushina and I have something to do. Then be careful. Yes, I will. Watching Fuku and others leave, Kushina, who had been silent all the time, asked. Minato, what else do we have to do? Well, don't you want to see Obito? Hearing Obito's name, Kushina's face changed instantly. Do you have a way to see Obito? Since they were resurrected, Obito has never returned to Konoha. Lin couldn't see Obito. That night, I left a flying thunder god mark on Obito. This time, I feel that this mark is not far from us. With my chakra, I can appear in front of him in an instant. What are you waiting for? I can't wait to see him. Thinking of what happened that night, Kushina's expression was very gloomy. I think you'd better calm down a little. The purpose of meeting Obito is to get him back to Konoha. Don't worry, Minato, I know my limits. It's strange that you know your limits. Minato secretly complained, and then sighed helplessly. It's true that what Obito did was not a human thing, and it's normal for Kushina to be angry. Even Minato, a kind person, has complicated feelings for Obito. On the one hand, Obito is the culprit who caused Kushina's death and Naruto's birth without parents. He is the murderer of many ninjas and civilians who died in the Nine Tails Rebellion. On the other hand, Obito's return to Konoha is also of great benefit to the village. The 5th generation Jiraiya and others are eager to know what the Moon Knight plan is. For the sake of the village, Minato could suppress his personal emotions as much as possible and not think about those bad past events. But Kushina couldn't. Want Obito to return to the village? Well, let me beat you up first. Somewhere in the land of rain, Obito was lying on a dilapidated roof, bored and basking in the sun that was rare in this country. I don't know if the Akatsuki organization can withstand the attack of the 5 major ninja villages. Well, I don't care whether it can withstand it or not, anyway, it's none of my business. Obito knew that Zetsu urged Nagato to capture the tailed beasts in advance. But as he said, he no longer cared about the Akatsuki organization. No matter what the Akatsuki organization became in the end, whether it successfully sealed the 9-tailed beasts or was destroyed by the ninjas of the 5 major ninja villages, he didn't care. The Rin that he missed so much had already been resurrected. He couldn't let Rin die again just to create a world with Rin, right? If that was the case, then he was not infatuated, but stupid. I don't know when I can see Lin again. Lin, I miss you so much. Reaching out his hand to the sky, Obito seemed to be caressing Lin's cheek. If you want to see Lin, we can go back to Konoha now. The sudden voice made Obito startled. Then he immediately stood up and looked in the direction of the voice. Old teacher. It's been a long time, Obito. Kushina's blood-red hair fluttered in the air, looking at Obito with a grim smile on her face, and walked towards him. Obito. Don't come over here. Chapter 255. Bailu. Seeing the imposing and approaching master's wife Kushina, Obito was sweating profusely and subconsciously wanted to hide in the Kamui space. Seeing that Obito's body began to twist, Kushina was not in a hurry, but just said jokingly, if you dare to hide in the Kamui space, I will go back and matchmake Rin to Kakashi. Upon hearing this, not only Obito was shocked, but even Minato behind him was shocked. The person Obito cares about most is Nohara Rin. For her, he can be an enemy of the world. If Rin really marries Kakashi, he doesn't know how to face these two people in the future. Can he still say to Kakashi, sister-in-law is really good, I like it very much? It depends on whether Kakashi can do it or not. Kushina's words really hit the snake at its most vulnerable point, and completely grasped Obito's life. That's right, a real man, don't hide in the Kamui space when something happens, it will make you look like a coward. Obito was trembling with nervousness, but he no longer had the idea of hiding in the Kamui space. However, he also had a premonition that he would be treated inhumanely next. He accepted it. He was the one who wronged Minato and Kushina first. That's good. Stand still and let me beat you up to vent my anger. Then we'll forget about it. Obito took off his mask, looked downcast, and said to Kushina with difficulty, Master's wife, can you be gentler? No, I feel sorry for the title of Master's wife if I don't use heavy hands. When she said this, Kushina had already come in front of Obito. She gently patted Obito's shoulder with her right hand, which frightened Obito. You bastard, you still know that I'm your master's wife, then how did you treat us? With a roar, Kushina gathered all her anger in her hands and smashed Obito's face. That's right, not beating, but smashing. It is conceivable how angry Kushina was about what Obito did. If I don't beat you until you are smoking, I'm not your master's wife. The furious Kushina was indeed terrifying. Even Minato didn't dare to provoke her in this state. Fortunately, even if Kushina was angry, she still retained some rationality. She beat him, but she didn't take the opportunity to use any sealing techniques. You have to know that the sealing techniques of the Uzumaki clan are unparalleled in the world. If Kushina was more ruthless and took the opportunity to use sealing techniques on Obito, Obito's life would probably be over. Now it's fine, just suffering some skin injuries, with his body injected with Hashirama cells, he will be able to recover soon. It's just that it hurts during the beating. It hurts, so it hurts. For Obito, the most painful time is when he sees Rin die. He has experienced that kind of heart-wrenching pain once, and he doesn't care about the mere physical pain. Even during the beating, he was a little concerned about whether Minato and Kushina had eaten. After all, it was almost time for dinner, and if they didn't eat, he wanted to eat with his master and his master's wife. It may be that Kushina's fist was too fast, and Obito's mouth was slipped. He wanted to ask, Master's wife, have you eaten? How about going to eat something later? As soon as the words came out of his mouth, it became, Master's wife, haven't you eaten? How about going to eat something first? As soon as these words came out, Obito knew that he had said the wrong thing, and quickly covered his mouth. Okay, you are disgusted with me for not having the strength to hit people, right? Okay, Obito, it seems that you have grown up over the years, and you have learned to be sarcastic. After saying that, Kushina did not give Obito a chance to explain, and her shade could burst out, increasing the output to Obito. Behind him, Minato was also speechless, thinking that Obito was stupid because of Kushina's beating, and he could even say such words. Kushina, that's enough, didn't you see that you almost broke his brain? What do you mean his brain was broken by me? His brain is broken to begin with. Kushina replied to Minato impatiently, but did not hit Obito's face again. It's okay, master, I have Hashirama cells implanted in me, I can still hold on. Hearing this, Minato was simply stunned. I've seen stupid people, but I've never seen such a stupid person. Alas, it seems that Obito has really been beaten stupid, can't you just take the beating and not say anything? Don't say you were my disciple in the future, it's really embarrassing. Minato behind him had already covered his face and couldn't bear to look directly. And Kushina was also speechless. She couldn't tell whether Obito was speaking the truth or mocking her. Just be beaten by me, what are you talking about? Unable to figure out whether Obito was speaking the truth or mocking her, Kushina simply gave up. Anyway, just beat this guy with all your strength. Just when Obito was being beaten by Kushina, Zetsu walked into a dark cave in the Land of Rain with Nagato's body. There was a different world inside the cave, and the space inside was very large. Not only was there electricity, but there were also all kinds of household facilities. At this time, there was a man fiddling with bottles and jars, as if he was doing some kind of experiment. Done. Seeing Zetsu coming back, the man didn't even raise his head, and kept observing the things on the experimental table. Yeah. Throwing Nagato's body on the ground casually, Zetsu looked at the man and said, Hiroshige, stop messing with these rubbish. Have you learned the scroll of the impure world reincarnation technique I gave you? Who said that these are rubbish? This is an important part of my ultimate power. Hiroshi didn't blame Zetsu for what he said. In his opinion, people like Zetsu who don't know what they will not understand his greatness. The impure world reincarnation technique is not difficult. I have learned it, but you want me to improve it. It will take some time. Zetsu nodded. As long as Hiroshi learns the impure world reincarnation technique, it will be fine. In this way, it will have a trump card that can make a comeback. Obito is completely unreliable. If you want to complete the so-called Moon Eye plan, you can only let Uchiha Madara do it himself. Although it is different from what was planned in advance, resurrection through impure world reincarnation is also a means of resurrection. Madara. Zetsu, you are trying to fool me with impure world reincarnation. Zetsu. Just tell me whether you are alive or not. With the resurrection of Uchiha Madara, things will be much simpler. Throughout the history of the ninja world, there are not many people with the fighting power of Uchiha Madara. It can be said that he is a rare existence. In addition, he has the immortality brought by impure world reincarnation. Who can compete with such an Uchiha Madara? I'm afraid that even Tobirama Senju cannot do it, right? Of course, to achieve this, it is also necessary to improve the impure world reincarnation technique. Try to impure the body of Madara in his peak period as much as possible. Hyrule is the tool it found to improve the impure world reincarnation technique. In order to prevent this talent from being assassinated, his strength must be strengthened as soon as possible. For this reason, Zetsu made a bold decision. Hyrule, do you want the Rinnegan? Chapter 256. Pharmacist Kabuto returns from study which had investigated the intelligence of Haruko very clearly. As a childhood friend of the three ninjas, Haruko did not have the outstanding qualifications of the three. In order to make up for his innate deficiencies, he secretly studied a forbidden technique called Kiara, which could integrate other people's bloodline limits. However, before he succeeded in his research, he was discovered by the Third Hokage, and the three ninjas were sent to hunt him down. Maybe it was because he was lucky enough that he escaped the pursuit of the three ninjas. However, after leaving Konoha village, Haruko did not have any extra resources. He had to do some low-risk work in the underground bounty agency to earn rewards. While saving money, he continued to study the Kiara technique. After many years of research, he finally made some achievements. Just when he was ecstatic and thought that he would soon obtain super qualifications and surpass the three ninjas, a cruel fact was placed before him. That is, with his current strength that barely reached the level of a Chunin, it was not an easy task to capture a bloodline limit ninja. It was under this circumstance that Zetsu approached him and promised to help him capture the bloodline limit ninja. But the premise was that Haruko needed to learn the technique of impure world reincarnation and successfully improve it so that the person who came out of the impure world reincarnation could reach the peak strength. Haruko could successfully study even the incomplete information of the Kiara technique, not to mention the complete information of the impure world reincarnation technique. In this way, Haruko happily agreed to Zetsu, and it only took him a week to learn the impure world reincarnation technique. At present, he is continuing to study how to increase the success rate of Kiara fusing bloodline limit while improving the impure world reincarnation. Rinnegan. Forget it, I am not blessed with such a life-threatening eye. Haruko's answer surprised Zetsu. In Zetsu's view, Haruko is a person who will do anything to become stronger. Otherwise, he would not study the Kiara technique, which only has a few words, but stay in Konoha honestly and be a Chunin who can see through the future at a glance. Why? The Samsara Eye is the sage's eye. If you have it, you can immediately become the top ninja in the ninja world. It's not my own thing, I don't feel safe using it. After looking at the liquid in the test tube, Naruto showed a trace of disappointment, and then glanced at the body of Nagato lying on the ground, and continued. Just look at him and you'll know. A good person, but his body was sucked dry by the Samsara Eye. I don't want to become like this. As a person, you still have to rely on yourself. Only if it is your own thing, you can feel at ease when using it. So you study the Kriya, want to make other people's bloodline limit your own? Yes. Hearing this, he rolled his eyes in his heart. Obviously, he felt very disdainful of Naruto's words. Okay, since you don't need it, I will take it myself, and you can continue to tinker with your Kriya. Naruto doesn't want it, and you won't force it. Crouching down, he dug out a Samsara Eye from Nagato's tightly closed left eye. Just as he opened his right eyelid and was about to dig out the Samsara Eye in his right eye, he froze. What's going on? Where is my Samsara Eye? How come such a big Samsara Eye is gone? Nagato's empty right eye frame broke Zetsu's defense. This is not an ordinary eye, but a samsara eye known as the immortal eye. How come one is missing? Did you drop it somewhere carelessly? On the side, seeing Zetsu, who was furious, Bailu laughed gloatingly. What the hell, can a night just fall off just like that? Haha, then I don't care about you. I'm going to rest first. I haven't slept for 3 days. I'm so sleepy. Bailu yawned and left here, turning back to his resting place. Zetsu was still thinking about why a samsara eye was missing. At this time, Zetsu, who always didn't like to talk, spoke. Could it be that Nagato noticed something was wrong and hid a samsara eye before he set out to fight the ninjas from the hidden cloud village? Well, that's the only possibility. Black Zetsu sighed. At this point, it was useless to think too much. Fortunately, even if there was only one samsara eye, the power it contained was very strong. It was just that when using techniques such as Shinra Tensei and Tensei Tensei, the consumption of chakra would increase. Where do you think Nagato would hide the other samsara eye? Putting his left eye into a glass container filled with liquid, Black Zetsu wanted to hear White Zetsu's opinion. I don't know where Nagato would hide the samsara eye, but I can be sure that he must have told Konan where the samsara eye was placed. Really? It's just as I thought. Black Zetsu watched Nagato and Konan grow up since they were young, and he knew the feelings between the two of them very well. Nagato would hide it from anyone, but not from Konan. Send more White Zetsu to investigate. I want to know where Konan is now. Understood. White Zetsu, who was possessed by Black Zetsu, took the order and left. In the huge cave, only Black Zetsu was left. It looked at Nagato quietly, then shook its head, turned around and used its own ability to dig a big pit, and buried Nagato's body in the pit. At the same time, something was happening in Orochimaru's laboratory in Konoha. A man wearing a hood walked in the laboratory as if there was no one around. Soon, he came to Orochimaru, who was recording data. Lord Orochimaru, I'm back. Orochimaru turned his head, looked at the person who came, grinned, and said happily, Kao, welcome back. That's right, this person was Kabata Yakushi, who entered Raichi Cave to learn the Sage Mode. Lord Orochimaru, I have learned the Sage technique. Kabata Yakushi took off his hood and revealed his current face. Unlike the handsome face of the big brother next door before, there are some snape scales irregularly distributed on his face now, and his eyes have become amber snape pupils, which looks a bit eerie and scary. It's good that you have learned it. It's worth my expectations of you. Orochimaru stuck out his tongue and licked his lips. He felt something was wrong. After learning the fairy art, Kabata Yakushi had some obvious differences in his attitude towards him compared to before. At least, the previous Kabata Yakushi would not look directly at him, but would slightly deviate his sight. This is the respect of the weak for the strong, and it is also a way for Kabata Yakushi to show that he is harmless. Kabata, do you think you have surpassed me, so you don't take me seriously? Of course not, Lord Orochimaru. At this time, Kabata Yakushi also imitated Orochimaru and stuck out his long tongue to lick his lips. In my eyes, it's all you. Chapter 257. 3 Things Kabata Yakushi didn't lie. He just stared at Orochimaru. His eyes were full of Orochimaru. Ha, a funny joke. With a cold smile, Orochimaru didn't continue talking, but turned around to continue recording the data that he hadn't finished recording. Orochimaru's reaction was beyond Kabata Yakushi's expectations. He didn't expect that the other party would react so calmly. But it didn't matter. In the face of the gap in strength, whether it was fierce resistance or indifferent non-response, it would not have any effect on him. Lord Orochimaru, you're already behind the times. Next, it's my time. Kabata quickly recorded the rest of the data, and then Orochimaru looked up at Kabata Yakushi again. You are too impatient. Orochimaru could probably guess what Kabata Yakushi was thinking. It was nothing more than that his strength had become stronger and he was not satisfied with being his vassal anymore. Orochimaru could actually understand this. At this time, Kabata Yakushi had both strength and brains. He was also happy to treat Kabata Yakushi as a partner. However, what Kabata Yakushi should never have thought of was to replace him, or even to be superior to him. Kabata, come with me, I'll show you something good. Fortunately, Orochimaru had been prepared and brought Kabata Yakushi to a secret room. Click. Turning on that power, Kabata Yakushi looked at the clones soaked in nutrient solution in the glass jar, and his pupils instantly dilated a lot. Dean. That's right, the person who shocked Kabata Yakushi was the dean of the orphanage at the time, Yakushi Nono. Kabata Yakushi respected this dean very much. If there was no dean, he might not know where he would die. The surname of Kabuto Yakashi, was taken from Yakashi Nono. It is conceivable that Nono holds Kabuto a high position in his heart. However, because of the conspiracy of the old man Danzo, Kabuto Yakashi killed the dean himself. This is also the eternal pain in his life. Lord Orochimaru, what do you mean? Isn't it obvious? I want to revive Nono. Kabuto Yakashi clenched his fists. He knew that once Nono was resurrected by Orochimaru, he would not be qualified to resist him. Because he never wanted to see the dean die in front of him again. The dean was Kabuto Yakashi's weak spot. Just like Nohara Rin was Obito's weak spot. Don't show that expression. Actually, even without Nono, you can't resist me. Really? I don't believe it. Okay, let you believe it a little bit. Pa Orochimaru snapped his fingers, and then Kabuto Yakashi knelt on the ground with his head in pain. He looked at Orochimaru with vicious eyes, trying not to scream. What did you do to me? You don't even say honorifics. Orochimaru smiled and didn't care, and continued. You should have known it a long time ago. When I injected my cells into you, I added a little bit of stuff in it. Yes, I should have thought of it a long time ago. There is nothing wrong with Kabuto Yakashi's brain. If you put yourself in his shoes, he will do the same thing as Orochimaru. After learning the immortal technique, my physique was also transformed by the immortal of Raichi Cave. Unexpectedly, after the transformation, my hidden dangers are still not eliminated. Hehe, those snakes in Raichi Cave, do they know what genes and cells are? Obviously, Orochimaru respects the snake immortal of Raichi Cave very much. But in the field of scientific research, he also looks down on those snakes. Okay, Lord Orochimaru, you win. Don't say that, we're a win-win situation. Snap. Orochimaru snapped his fingers again, relieving Kabuto Yakashi's pain. Kabuto Yakashi panted for a while, then asked in confusion. Win-win? Yes, you have gained powerful strength, and I have gained a subordinate again. No, it should be said that you were a partner. Now you are qualified to cooperate with me. Then thank you, Lord Orochimaru, for looking out to me. Ha, you're welcome. Kabuto Yakashi understood that partner was just a better excuse to save face for Kabuto Yakashi. As long as he didn't solve Nono's problem and his own physical hidden dangers, he would always be Orochimaru's subordinate. Although Kabuto Yakashi felt a little helpless about this, he could accept it. Anyway, he was used to being Orochimaru's subordinate, and now he was just maintaining the status quo. But he was still a little annoyed in his heart. He thought it was the return of the king, but it turned out to be the same as before. It was also thanks to Kabuto Yakashi's good mentality, otherwise he would definitely be furious. A little bit of annoyance, it takes some time to adjust, it's not a big deal. Speaking of big things, Konoha did have some big things happen in the past 2 days. The first thing is that Uchiha Itachi came back with Fuku and Sasuke. Seeing this, the 5th generation Jiraiya immediately started to mobilize public opinion, portraying Itachi as a heroic figure who endured humiliation and lurked in the enemy camp. As for the issue of the dead Uchiha clan members, why not throw out to Danzo? Anyway, he would not jump out to oppose it. Danzo. What a sin. The second thing is that Uchiha Obito was also brought back by Minato and Kushina. He couldn't not come back. Kushina said that she would marry Rin to Kakashi. If Obito didn't come back, wouldn't he have to call Rin sister-in-law and he saw her next time? This is something Obito absolutely cannot accept. Of course, the 5th generation Jiraiya also whitewashed Obito's return through public opinion. It's not to whitewash the Nine-Tails Rebellion. This matter can't be whitewashed no matter how you wash it. Jiraiya only mentioned a little bit that Obito was rescued by someone and then wandered outside. In fact, it is not whitewashing, but choosing to conceal it. Some people may ask. Then did the people who sacrificed in the Nine-Tails Rebellion die in vain? Of course not. According to the fact that the light curtain can link other time and space, it is unknown when the light curtain will link the time and space during the reign of the 4th generation. At the time, we can do a census and revive all the sacrificed people, right? However, it will cost a lot of money to revive so many people. Konoha will not help Obito with this money, so he can only make money by himself to make up for his mistakes. The third thing is that Konan came to Konoha in a low-key manner. And not many people know about this matter. Only a few people such as Jiraiya know it, and the public does not know it. The reason why Konan came to Konoha is also very simple, that is, to confirm whether Nagato is really dead, and to revive Nagato. Don't worry, Konan, I will take you to find Orochimaru now. Then I'll trouble Jiraiya teacher. Don't say whether it's troublesome or not, I'm your teacher. Taking Conan, he asked someone to call Yahiko halfway. After the reunion, the three of them went directly to Orochimaru's laboratory. Chapter 258. The 13th Character Review. After learning the purpose of the three people's visit, Orochimaru happily agreed to it, and solemnly reintroduced Kabata Yakashi, who had returned from Raichi Cave. When did you come back? Why didn't I know? Kabata Yakashi laughed and replied calmly. I came back secretly a few days ago and didn't alarm anyone. It's normal that Hokage didn't know. Hearing this, Jiraiya felt that Kabata Yakashi's attitude seemed a little wrong. He didn't have the awe of him before. It felt like he had learned a fairy technique and was floating. Jiraiya raised his eyebrows and signaled Orochimaru with his eyes. Jiraiya, can you still control Kabata Yakashi? Orochimaru smiled back at Jiraiya, indicating that there was no problem. After receiving Orochimaru's reply, Jiraiya didn't care about Kabata Yakashi's attitude. Okay, let's start the impure world Nagato next. Using a death row prisoner as a consumable, Orochimaru successfully impures the world out of Nagato. The moment they saw the impure world Nagato, Yahiko and Conan were very excited. Being able to bring Nagato out of the impure world reincarnation means that Nagato is indeed dead. Nagato, who killed you? It was Zetsu. After Nagato's consciousness was awakened, he knew what the current situation was when he saw Jiraiya and Orochimaru. After you left, Zetsu came out of nowhere and attacked me. Damn it, I knew it had bad intentions. Don't worry, Conan, Yahiko. At this time, Jiraiya stood up and comforted Conan and Yahiko. Once Orochimaru has made Nagato's clone, Nagato will be resurrected. Well, I understand. People who were resurrected through impure world reincarnation are actually false resurrections. Such people do not have the sense of touch, taste, etc. that normal people should have. Moreover, according to the law of conservation of mass, as time goes by, the impure world reincarnation will also damage the soul. Therefore, after knowing who the murderer is, Jiraiya sealed the impure world reincarnation Nagato. This can not only protect Nagato's soul, but also prevent him from being brought out of the impure world by others. Although only Orochimaru and Kabata Yakashi can be resurrected, we should always be prepared for the worst. Okay, Conan, you and Yahiko should stay in Konoha first, and we will talk about everything after Nagato is resurrected. Okay, Jiraiya-sensei. Time passed quickly, and in the blink of an eye it was time for this episode of the Light Screen Review video. During this period of time, nothing happened in the ninja world. Except that the Uegaku village severely reprimanded the Kamugaku village, and was very dissatisfied with the fact that the Kamugaku village did not inform them after retreating. However, even if he was dissatisfied, Othnuki would not attack the Kamugaku village because of this matter. At this time, he was still sad and angry that Itaru chose to commit suicide instead of returning to the Uegaku village. On the Karigaku side, the Karigakujin troops led by Chojuro and they were no match for Kizum. If Kizum had not helped back, Chojuro and his men would probably have all died in his hands. Afterwards, Kizum disappeared. If we talk about the biggest winner of this battle, it is Konoha and Tsunade. Kyo promised that Konoha would definitely resurrect Scorpion's parents, and Scorpion agreed to return to the Sand Village. Scorpion's return has a great impact. Not only does it mean that the Sand Village has regained a top fighter, but it can also improve the ability of the Sand Village to make puppets. In time, the Sand Village will definitely have an elite ninja force that mainly uses puppets. When it was about to reach 8 o'clock in the evening, the offices of the Hokage of the two time and space were full of people. With the return of Tsunade and Obito, they also successfully became new viewers of the Light Curtain. As for why there are no Fuku, Itachi, Conan and Yahiko, the two Uchiha people are not interested in this thing. After handing over the responsibility of the family to Sasuke, Fuku put down all his burdens, studied food with Makoto at home every day, and went out to fish from time to time. He lived a comfortable life. As for Uchiha Itachi, it was because he had no energy to pay attention to the Light Curtain. As the executioner who slaughtered the clan members, Sasuke, who has become the clan leader, believes that Itachi has an obligation to contribute to the revival of the family. Therefore, Sasuke asked Naruto's mother Kushina to find a large number of women to do that with Itachi. Under the pressure of family justice and his own sins, Itachi had no room to resist and could only reluctantly agree to the request to be a stud. As for Conan and Yahiko, to be honest, the third Hokage did not completely believe in them, and he did not even believe in Obito. If it were not for the fact that Obito himself was a Konoha ninja, and if Minato and Kushina had not guaranteed it, the Third Hokage would have agreed to Obito's joining. Konan and Yahiko are different. The two of them were not Konoha ninjas, and even with Jiraiya as a guarantor, the Third Hokage did not agree. Sasuke, your brother's health is already poor, and you asked me to introduce so many beauties to him. Will his body be able to bear it? It's okay, Kushina. Thinking of the stupid things Itachi did in the past, Sasuke couldn't help but sneer. It doesn't matter if he dies. The Uchiha family is rich anyway. Even if he dies a dozen or 20 times, I can resurrect him. That being said, but if you do that too much, you'll get tired of it. Kushina, is it appropriate for you to tell me this? I'm just a child. You are the patriarch of the Uchiha clan, and you will experience it sooner or later. I don't even have a partner yet. After complaining softly, Sasuke quickly pulled his thoughts back and said to Kushina, it is his duty to revive the Uchiha clan and let Itachi carry on the family line and have children. Even if, as Aunt Kushina said, he is tired of that, then let him become a woman. Become a woman? Kushina was shocked. There is such a thing. That's right, if you're tired of using a male body, then use a female body. To be honest, I'm looking forward to seeing a bunch of little brats calling him daddy and mommy. Looking at Sasuke who was sneering, Kushina shuddered. She could already foresee what kind of life Itachi would live next. That would be worse than death. Hi, hello, dear audience, I'm the new Lin Tian. At 8 o'clock in the evening, the light curtain appeared on time. Seeing this, Obito and Tsunade, who was still chatting with others, immediately stopped talking and looked at the light curtain that suddenly appeared with white eyes. The inventory of the characters of the Akatsuki organization has come to an end. Some people may ask, haven't we yet reviewed Yahiko, Obito, and Zetsu? Let's talk about Yahiko first. His life is actually quite simple, and there is no explosive point. In addition, his popularity is not very high, so the performance of the video after it is made will probably not be too good. As for Obito and Zetsu, strictly speaking, they are not members of the Akatsuki organization, but members of Uchiha Madara. Even the latter is not even Uchiha Madara's person. Therefore, the characters reviewed in this video are the Crown Princess Hyuga Hinata, who is highly popular, and the villain Haruko who appears in the movie. Chapter 259 Hyuga Hinata. Wait, what does that sentence mean that he is not even Uchiha Madara's man? Is there someone else behind Zetsu? Isn't Uchiha Madara the ultimate mastermind? Jiraiya the 5th generation pointed at the light curtain, but his eyes were looking at Obito. It was obvious that Jiraiya wanted to know some information about Zetsu from Obito. Not only Jiraiya, but everyone else also wanted to know about Zetsu. Facing everyone's staring eyes, Obito was under a lot of pressure. After so many days of returning to Konoha, he has not yet adapted to his identity as a Konoha ninja again. After all, he also knew that what he did was not something a human would do. In order to escape, he ran to find Lin whenever he had time. Only with Lin would he feel comfortable and not so awkward. In fact, I don't know what the true identity of Zetsu is. I only know that Madara said it is the embodiment of his will. The embodiment of will. The Third Hokage smacked his lips, a trace of disdain on his face. Even the shop daimyo didn't have any embodiment of will. How could Uchiha Madara have one? I think he was probably deceived by this Zetsu. Yeah, I think so too. Obito nodded honestly. Anyway, he didn't know the true details of Zetsu, so he would agree with what the Third Hokage and others said. Okay, we will discuss the matter of Zetsu later. Jiraiya pretended to cough, and then focused everyone's attention on Hyuga Hinata. I'm curious, why is this girl called Hyuga Hinata called the Crown Princess by the light curtain? The meaning of the Crown Princess is easy to understand. Generally speaking, it means the wife of the heir of a noble family like a daimyo. Orochimaru was very interested in this topic. He looked at the people around him and continued, Hyuga Hinata is a ninja and a member of the main family of the Hyuga family. It is impossible for her to marry those nobles, so here, the Crown Princess should refer to the heir or descendant of our ninja village kid. Then, the only ones in Konoha who can meet this condition are Ashuma and Naruto. No, how could I have anything with Hinata? Hearing that he was being talked about, Ashuma shook his head frantically in the playful eyes of Kurone. I know it can't be you. With your appearance of smoking, drinking and having a big beard, who else can look up to you except Kurone? The 3rd generation Hokage complained about Ashuma without hesitation. Ashuma's mouth twitched, and he decided to ignore his old man, and turned around to say something to Kurone. It looked like he was swearing an oath to show his loyalty to Kurenai. Excluding Ashima, the only one left is Naruto. Well, it can only be Naruto. It can't be the brat Konohara, right? As soon as this was said, everyone present looked at Naruto, who didn't know what was going on. Seeing Naruto's bewildered look, Kushina held her forehead and said with a headache, "How come Hinata and I are so smart? Why did we give birth to a stupid son?" Kushina had seen Hinata Hyuga, who was a very beautiful and cute girl with a good figure. Kushina was very happy that such a girl would like Naruto. She was just afraid that because of the appearance of the light curtain, such a good marriage would be ruined by her stupid son. No, starting from tomorrow, Naruto and Hinata must have more contact with each other. Thinking of this, Kushina whispered to Mineta, "Mineta, if I want to put Naruto in Kurenai's class, do you think Kakashi and Kurenai will agree?" "Kushina, calm down. It's useless if the two of them agree. The Hokage needs to agree. Aren't you the Hokage?" "My fourth Hokage. The current Hokage in power is Jiraiya-sensei." "Then I will, Kushina, don't worry." Mineta hurriedly grabbed Kushina, who wanted to find Jiraiya, and said quickly, "In fact, if you want Naruto and Hinata to have more contact with each other, you don't need to put Naruto in Kurenai's class. It is also a good choice to let the two classes go on missions together." "You're right. As a former Hokage, your mind is quick." Facing Kushina's compliment, Mineta wiped the non-existent cold sweat from his forehead, smiled awkwardly and replied, "Hectares, it's okay. Hinata was born in the Hyuga clan, which is known as the strongest family in Konoha." "The strongest?" Sasuke curled his lips in disdain. "She is the eldest daughter of the clan leader Hyuga Hayashi. It is written in the official book that the Hyuga clan is as famous as the Uchiha clan and is the oldest family in Konoha. The Hyuga clan has one of the three major Rai techniques, which was praised as the most excellent bloodliner limit in the early settings, the Byakugan. The best bloodliner limit." Sasuke curled his lips in disdain again. In order to protect this precious bloodliner limit, the Hyuga clan was split into the main family and the branch family. As the heir of the family, the main family inherits the complete power of the Byakugan. And the branch family will be cursed with a seal called a bird in a cage. Not only will they be controlled by the main family, but the power of the Byakugan will also be weakened. The mission of the branch family is to protect the safety of the main family. Brothers and sisters born from the same mother will have different destinies just because of the different order of birth. This system may seem stupid to us. However, in the worldview of Naruto, such a cruel system does a good job of avoiding the leakage of the Byakugan. System? Sasuke curled his lips in disdain again. Let's get back to the point. Hinata is the eldest daughter of the clan, so she has naturally shouldered the mission of the clan since she was a child. She has high hopes from her father, and she has to train until late at night every day and live a life of a chicken baby. In fact, Hinata doesn't like this kind of life. She has a soft and kind mind and hates fighting and killing. But the fate of the clan has always been like this, and she has no way to change it. She can only accept it and practice hard to make herself stronger. On Hinata's third birthday, the clan held an important meeting, and they put the cursed seal of a caged bird on Hinata's cousin, the 4-year-old Neji. The two brothers and sisters who should have lived in harmony became estranged because of the cursed seal. Later, Neji's father gave his life to protect Hinata's father. This incident completely changed the relationship between the two siblings from relatives to enemies. Such a twisted family, such perverted family rules, made Hinata feel suffocated. On a snowy night, Hinata sneaked out of the house alone. It was also on this day that she met Naruto for the first time in her life. Such a big family can't even take care of a 3 or 4-year-old child. Sasuke pouted again. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 260. Bird in a Cage. Sasuke, Naruto has Hinata and so on. What's wrong with your mouth? On the screen, the scene of Naruto and Hinata meeting for the first time was very beautiful. It was so beautiful that Orochimaru couldn't help but want to tease Sasuke. Even someone like Naruto is liked by people, so what about my dear disciple? But when Orochimaru turned his head to look at Sasuke, he realized that Sasuke's mouth seemed to be a little wrong. Why is it so crooked? It's okay. Sasuke quickly rubbed his cheek with his hand and returned to his usual appearance. Sasuke, I know what you were thinking. Sasuke raised his hand to interrupt Orochimaru and continued. There are many people who like me, I just don't know who to choose. I think. No. Sasuke interrupted Orochimaru again and said. You just feel that the status of those girls who like me is not comparable to Hinata, so you think you have lost to Jiraiya? It can be said that there are really many girls who like Sasuke. Not to mention seniors and juniors, just counting the people in his class, except Hinata, almost all the girls like Sasuke. But from the perspective of identity and background, none of these girls can compare to Hinata. Ino, who can barely compare with Hinata, is destined not to marry Sasuke. Why not? Because the Yamanaka family is looking for a son-in-law. Sasuke, the head of the Uchiha clan, can't marry into the Yamanaka family, right? Besides, Sasuke doesn't really like Ino. Even Sakura, who is on the same team, he thinks it's noisy. Then. Don't talk anymore, I can't go to find a rich lady just for you and Jiraiya's inexplicable desire to win, just give up on this idea. Orochimaru was speechless. He hasn't said anything yet, and all the words were said by Sasuke. This made him feel very depressed. Orochimaru, you said all my words. Speaking of which, Sasuke-kun, have you noticed that you have become more cheerful recently? Really? Maybe. Sasuke shrugged, not wanting to continue chatting with Orochimaru. Seeing that Sasuke didn't want to talk anymore, Orochimaru chuckled, with a strange expression on his face, and no one knew what he was thinking. That night, Naruto sent Hinata home and comforted her. You have such a big family, why are you still crying? Although I have no one around me, I never cry. Naruto's optimism and sunshine planted a seed in Hinata's heart, and she began to notice this inconspicuous boy. Seeing this, Kushina hardened, her fists hardened. She had already vented her anger, but she started to get angry again. Calm down, Kushina, you have to calm down, you can't attack the Sanmi and Jiraiya again. From a mother's perspective, Kushina was angry that Naruto had such an aggrieved childhood, so she beat up the Sanmi and Jiraiya and others, which was understandable. But the second time she attacked, the situation was different. No matter how much the Sanmi, Jiraiya and others have wronged Kushina and Naruto, they are still the shadow of Konoha and the face of Konoha. Don't worry, Minato, I'm not a shrew who knows nothing. The Sanmi and Jiraiya can't be beaten, so what about the others? Tilting her head, Kushina saw Obito, who was whispering to Lin, and smiled inexplicably. Suddenly, Obito suddenly felt a little cold. He quickly looked around and saw Kushina smiling at him. Alas, it's really a sin. What's wrong, Obito? It's okay. After watching the video on the light screen, I will let Kakashi take you home. What about you? Me? Obito sighed and continued, I have to pay back some of the interest for those evil things I did. At this time, Lin also saw the smiling Kushina, and then she understood. She looked at Obito with pity and said softly, then I wish you good luck. Although Naruto is both inexplicable and playful, and everyone in the village is annoyed by him, he has a strong sense of justice. When Hinata was bullied, Naruto would stand up and take the beating for her. Although his posture was not so handsome, it was quite effective. After this incident, Naruto successfully captured the heart of Miss Hinata. Since then, Hinata often sneaked out of the house and peeked at Naruto's training in the grove. Naruto's ninja way is to do what you say and never give up. In her heart, Hinata silently regarded Naruto as her role model. She hoped that she could also become a person who never gives up like Naruto. This dream is not easy to achieve. Although Naruto is the last one now, he has the protagonist's halo and the Nine-Tails plugin. It is only a matter of time before he soars to the sky. And Hinata, at the time, was not only mediocre in talent, but the benchmark for her comparison was the greatest genius in the history of the clan. Although Hinata tried her best every time she trained, and got herself bruised and battered every time, she still could not make up for the huge gap between herself and the genius. This gap not only troubled Hinata, but also troubled Neji, a genius, and the parents of the Hyuga clan. A few years later, Hinata's younger sister, Hanabi, who was 5 years younger than Hinata, grew up. The elders in the clan gradually discovered that Hanabi was a talented child and a martial arts prodigy. In contrast, Hinata was too kind and didn't like fighting. This kind of character made it difficult for her to be the head of the Hyuga family. So, they also regarded Hanabi as the heir of the main family and trained her together. One day, Hayashi asked Hanabi and Hinata to have a simulated competition, and asked them to treat each other as real enemies that needed to be defeated, and neither side was allowed to let go. However, Hinata, who was highly expected by Hayashi, disappointed him. Hinata's heart was too kind, and she couldn't bear to attack her sister, and ended up losing to Hanabi. In the end, the Hyuga clan chose to abolish the eldest and establish the youngest. They regarded Hanabi as the true heir of the main family and trained her, while Hinata lost her qualifications and was sent to the ninja school, becoming an ordinary ninja like her cousin Neji. Minato, you know what I'm thinking now, right? If Kushina could still show a kind smile to Obito just now, then at this moment she didn't want to smile at all, and her face was so ugly. Well, I can guess it. Kushina's thoughts are actually not difficult to guess. The reason why her face is so ugly is nothing more than Hinata, who has been regarded as her daughter-in-law. According to the clan rules of the Hyuga clan, after Hinata loses her status as the heir of the family, she may be engraved with the cage bird curse by the elders of the family at any time. Our daughter-in-law must not be cursed with the cage bird seal by the Hyuga people. Don't worry, I will talk to Hayashi afterwards. Now Hinata has not been cursed with the cage bird seal, I guess Hayashi is mediating, otherwise Hinata should have been cursed with the cage bird seal the moment the identity of Hanabi's successor was confirmed. Thinking about Hayashi's brother Hisashi, and Neji, Hinata has not been cursed with the cage bird seal yet. Minato could not think of any other reason except that her father, the clan leader, was blocking her. Chapter 261 Kind Hinata and Straight Naruto. Being an ordinary ninja is not necessarily a bad thing for Hinata. She doesn't like oppressive families. In comparison, the atmosphere of the ninja school is much more relaxed. Besides, her favorite Naruto is also here. Compared to the feudal family that writes the word cannibalism on the surface, perhaps a school where everyone is equal is more suitable for her. This child is really kind. Yeah, it feels a little too kind. Everyone has a good impression of Hinata. After all, kind people will never be disgusting no matter where they are. Of course, the saint bitch is an exception. But everyone still has their own opinions on Hinata's kindness. Kakashi and his son think that with Hinata's personality, she is not suitable to be a ninja. Unfortunately, being in a big family like the Hyuga family, it is not possible not to be a ninja. From this point of view, the Uchiha is more humane. There are also many people in the Uchiha clan who are not suitable to be ninjas, but these people's families will not force them to become ninjas, but will give them a sum of money to let them do business. Hinata is different, because their Byakugan can open automatically when they reach a certain age, so they are born to be ninjas. I don't think there's anything wrong with Hinata's character, she's just kind of not cowardly. Obviously, Kushina doesn't agree with Kakashi and his son's point of view. On the side, Kurenai also nodded and said, yes, Hinata is not cowardly, and I also think she has an indomitable and tenacious personality, and is a very good ninja. Kurenai, Hinata's instructor, has spoken, so what else can Kakashi and his son say? They can only shrug or shake their heads and skip this topic. After graduating from the ninja school, Hinata, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame formed the 8th team. Her Byakugan, Kiba's sense of smell, and Shino's bugs are all good at reconnaissance, so the 8th team is also called the reconnaissance team. Their teacher is the gentle and beautiful illusion master Kurenai, who trains and tasks with the 3 of them every day, and their daily life is quite enjoyable. Until the tuning exam comes. During the first written test, Hinata sat next to Naruto. She finally mustered up the courage to greet Naruto, but Naruto's inner thoughts were, when did this guy come? I didn't notice him at all, his presence is too low. Shino. Then mine? During the test, Hinata found that Naruto could do nothing but scratch his head, so she took the initiative to give her test paper to Naruto to copy, but Naruto's inner thoughts were, why did you do this? Is it some kind of strategy? Is she trying to trick me? Son. Under the light curtain, Kushina covered her face with one hand and placed the other hand on Naruto's head, saying, are you stupid? Her. Naruto was dumbfounded, not understanding why his mother said that. Hinata has taken the initiative, why don't you understand? You actually thought she wanted to hurt you. Well, I was too nervous at the time and didn't think too much. Kushina sighed, pointing at Minato who was also embarrassed by Naruto's behavior, and said, if you have half of your father's talent, Kushina, you just talk about your son, why are you talking about me? Kushina rolled her eyes at Minato and said, did I say anything wrong? Don't think I don't know that you have been eyeing me since the first day I came to the ninja school. Well, Minato was embarrassed. He did have a good impression of this girl with red hair when he saw Kushina for the first time. What Kushina said was not wrong. You must teach your son your skills in picking up girls. With his stupid behavior, I don't know when I can hold my grandson. Naruto is not even 15 yet. Isn't it too soon? Faster. When we were together, you were not even 14 yet. Why didn't you say so at the time? Okay, I'll try my best. Looking at the ignorant Naruto, Minato also felt that he had to teach Naruto a lesson. It's not a good thing to always let Hinata, a little girl, take the initiative. The second exam was the Death Forest, and Hinata's teammate passed smoothly. On the way to passing the exam, a small episode happened. The three children witnessed Gaara's famous killing scene, and they were almost crushed into ashes. The third exam was divided into 2 games. The first half was a 1v1 indoor game. In this game, Inuzuka Kiba from Team 8 faced Naruto. Hinata wanted to cheer for Kiba from her own class, but she couldn't help but cheer for Naruto, and she was in a dilemma. After the game, Hinata gave Naruto medicine, but only got a good guy card in return. Naruto. Thank you, you are such a good person, Hinata. Kushina couldn't bear it anymore and punched Naruto hard on the head. Armon, what are you doing? My hands are itching, do you have any objection? Naruto was speechless and looked at Minato with tears in his eyes. Minato shrugged, indicating that he could do nothing to help. In comparison, Kiba's performance was much warmer. He ignored his own injuries and struggled to remind Hinata, be sure to be careful of the people behind you. If you face the Sand Village boy or Niji, just give up. For you, they are too powerful and you'll be covered with bruises. Kiba's mouth was like a blessing. The next game happened to be Hinata against Niji. Ningchai has always been suffering from his status as a branch family. He is bound by a cage bird and cannot get freedom. His Byakugan ability has also been castrated. His father died for the main family. He has long hated the main family and the eldest daughter of the main family, Hinata. The game started, Ningchai started talking before the troops moved. You give up, I think you are not suitable to be a ninja at all, you are too kind, always catering to other people's ideas, people like you, just be a genin. After a lot of talking, Hinata's morale was weakened by half. She wanted to try hard to defend herself. She actually wanted to change herself, but Ningchai poured cold water on her again. Ningchai. The last one is the last one. People can't change, just like I'm a branch family and you were a main family. In the office, Tsunade, who had been silent all the time, couldn't help but mutter at this time. This Niji, his character is too ruthless. Jiraiya heard it and replied, there's nothing we can do. There are reasons for this. Yes, he was like a caged bird and witnessed the death of his father. As a member of the branch family, he couldn't rebel against the main family. It's not surprising that he became like this. I'm quite curious about how Niji's father, Hisashi, died. Well, you should ask the old man. Chapter 262 Right and Wrong. The third Hokage looked at Jiraiya and Tsunade, smacked his lips, and said helplessly, I have no choice. Minato and Kushina died, Orochimaru defected, and you and Jiraiya are not in the village. If we really fight with Konoha, our Konoha will definitely suffer heavy losses. And the Hyuga clan was already a little restless at the time, so I thought I could take this opportunity to warn them. Look, how honest and obedient the Hyuga clan is now. So you still think you did the right thing? Whether it is right or wrong, let time decide. Tsunade and Jiraiya's faces looked a little ugly. They both knew that the old man was right. If the 3 ninjas were all in the village, or if only one of them was in the village, Konoha would not dare to blackmail so blatantly. If only Minato and Kushina hadn't died at the time. Yes, after all, it's all Uchiha Obito's fault. If he hadn't started the Nine Tails Rebellion, the village wouldn't have lost its high-end combat power and would have to rely on the old man to hold the scene. After saying that, Tsunade turned her head and stared at Obito. No, it has nothing to do with me. It is indeed my business, but I was young and ignorant at the time. Obito was numb. Even the fact that Konoha came to Konoha to blackmail him, could he be blamed? Fortunately, he also knew that his current situation was very embarrassing. In order not to make things difficult for Lin, he simply admitted his mistake. Well, it's good to know that you were wrong. After watching the light curtain, give me 1 million ryo as compensation for my mental damage. Her. Ha, Obito, don't listen to her. She is crazy about money. TSK Jiraiya laughed, and Tsunade didn't insist on asking Obito to pay. She just wanted to express her attitude. She, the medical expert, Tsunade, one of the 3 ninjas, was not wrong. It was Uchiha Obito who was wrong. Obito. Ah, right. Hinata was trembling all over and ashamed by Niji's words. Just at this moment, a foolish encouragement came from the viewing platform. Yes, the one who encouraged Hinata was our king of words, Uzumaki Naruto. Naruto. Kill him, Hinata, I can't stand it anymore. Hearing Naruto's encouragement, Hinata was stunned. Yes, keeping one's word and never giving up is Naruto's ninja way, and also her ninja way. At this time, her panicked heart finally calmed down, and her expression changed from fear to calmness. Hinata. I don't want to run away anymore. Let's fight it out, Neji brother. In fact, Hinata's physical skills are not weak. In the official book, Hinata's physical skills value of this period is already 5 points. Don't underestimate the 5 points. Most of the other little strongmen are still hovering around the 2 or 3 points. But even so, in front of the genius of the Hyuga clan in history, Hinata is still far behind. At this time, Neji's physical skills value is as high as 7 points, which is stronger than the level of many chunins. He beats Hinata like a 10-year veteran driver playing bumper cars in a children's playground, easy and fun. In just a few rounds, Hinata was severely injured by Neji. Not only was her whole body acupuncture points blocked, but even her heart was hit by a blow. Hinata struggled to get up from the ground. At this time, Neji was already a little impatient. He hated this kind of guy who didn't accept his fate the most. At the end of the last round, Hinata vomited blood and fell, and Neji turned around confidently. Just when everyone thought the battle was over and even the examiner was about to announce the result, at this time, Naruto once again sent a foolish encouragement. Naruto. Don't stop the game, Hinata. Son, you don't want Hinata to be beaten to death by Neji, do you? Looking at the screen, Kushina was quite embarrassed by her silly son's random encouragement. Why? Hinata didn't admit defeat, shouldn't I encourage her? Seeing that Kushina was quite speechless by Naruto, Minato said to Naruto. When the difference in strength is so big, and after trying hard, it is found that you really can't beat it, admitting defeat is a good choice. After all, this is just an exam, not a life and death battle. Is that so? Naruto turned his head and looked at Kakashi, wanting to hear what his instructor said. Well, Minato teacher is right. In Hinata's case, admitting defeat is indeed a good choice. Kakashi still has a deep impression of this game. In that battle, Nishai did not hold back, and in the end he even exposed his murderous intent and wanted to kill Hinata. If he didn't stop it, Hinata might have been beaten to death by Nishai. Fortunately, he was not the only one who had this idea. Guy, Hone, and Hayate all had the same idea as him. The 4 of them tried to stop him at the same time, and Neji had no way to stop him. Judging from the result, if Naruto had not given Hinata the second encouragement, Hinata would have received treatment earlier and would not have to stand on the stage in pain to continue to insist. Well, it seems that I was wrong. Naruto hugged his head in distress. Even if he did not think that there was anything wrong with him encouraging Hinata, but his parents and teacher Kakashi said so, he would bravely admit his mistakes, and then spend time to figure out why he was wrong in this matter. This is Naruto's advantage. Correct mistakes as soon as you know them. However, many things are not right or wrong, but they are right or wrong because of different standpoints. Adults weigh that pros and cons, and children rely on their own hearts. Perhaps, Naruto will have to spend a lot of time to understand the right and wrong issues in this. Hinata did not lose consciousness, and with Naruto's encouragement, she struggled to get up again. She has always been a nobody with no sense of existence. Now that she is finally noticed by the person she likes, how can she let him down? Seeing Hinata get up again, the already angry Neji became even angrier. At this moment, murderous intent was revealed in Neji's eyes. He opened his Byakugan and attacked Hinata again. At this time, Hinata could no longer bear the serious injuries in her body. Before Neji's attack hit her, she fell down. Naruto was so concerned that he ran over to see his wife first. Naruto. I'm not, don't talk nonsense. Hinata looked at Naruto, who was concerned. She wanted to ask Naruto if she had changed at all, but her injuries were too serious. She fell into a coma before she could say anything. Tobirama's office. Little Jiraiya looked at the light curtain with some dissatisfaction, and said, "This kid named Neji is so powerful that it takes 4 Junin to stop him. He is really too prominent." Little Jiraiya didn't know that Hayate was a special Junin. It's not that he is powerful, but these 4 Junin all want to save Hinata, so there is a scene of 4 people stopping one person. After explaining to Little Jiraiya a little Orochimaru continued, "Do you think that the big villain named Haruko who will be counted in the second half will be our classmate?" I hope not, but, alas, as a friend of Haruko, little Jiraiya naturally doesn't want the big villain that the light curtain is going to count to be him. But in the ninja world, there are too few people with the same name. It is highly likely that this big villain is their classmate. Or Okimura, how about we go to play with Haruko tomorrow? No, if you want to go, go by yourself. Okay, if you don't want to go, then don't go. I will go find him myself. Chapter 263 The Matchmaker Carrying Rice. After Hinata recovered from her injury, she went to the training ground where Naruto used to practice. It happened that Naruto also came at this time. It is said that Naruto is a good talker, but he himself is not confident. In the final stage of the Chunin exam, he was also full of worry when facing Neji. Over the years, Hinata has received a lot of encouragement from Naruto, and now it is her turn to encourage Naruto. Hinata, you will definitely win. Even if you fail, in my opinion, you are also a loser worthy of pride. Although not perfect, it is precisely because of failure that you can stand up and face it firmly. This is the real strength. In addition, I think Naruto is a very powerful person. After listening to Hinata's words, Naruto finally showed a relieved smile. Naruto, I always thought that you were a silent and hesitant guy, but I like people like you very much. Aha, what's that? It turns out that you are still very good at picking up girls. Under the light curtain, Kushina didn't care about others and started laughing. While laughing, he patted Naruto's back. Ha, I told you that the son of Kushina and I can't be that straight. Namake's Minato also smiled. On the light screen, Naruto's words were so good, and the smile at the end, in Minato's eyes, was flawless. Mom and Dad, are you too excited? At this time, Naruto seemed a little embarrassed. The light screen showed so many things about Hinata and him, and Hinata looked at him blushing. Even if Naruto was slow, he reacted. Hinata, she seems to like me. But I like Sakura. Thinking of Sakura, Naruto didn't know where he got the courage from, and looked at Kushina firmly and said, Mom, when I said I liked Hinata, it wasn't that kind of like. The person I really liked was Sakura. Hearing what Naruto said, Sasuke couldn't help but mutter. This idiot. I can only say that it's worthy of Naruto, the first ninja of unexpectedness. Kakashi also sighed. The current situation is that Kushina clearly likes Hinata very much, but Naruto doesn't follow Kushina's thoughts and says he likes Sakura. Don't forget that Sakura is still learning the sealing technique with Kushina. Rebellious son. As expected, Kushina was very angry when she heard this and hit Naruto's head hard. Hinata has a kind personality, she is soft and submissive but also tough. What's wrong with her? I don't know. Anyway, the person I like is Sakura. You, seeing that Kushina was still going to teach Naruto a lesson, Minato quickly grabbed his wife. Okay Kushina, don't hurt Naruto's head. He is like this, right? Let the child's affairs take their course. Maybe after seeing Hinata's inventory, he will change his mind. Humph, for your father's sake, I will let you go this time. Sitting on the chair, Naruto looked very aggrieved. He just told his mother that the person he liked was Sakura, why was he beaten by his mother? I can't figure it out. But just because he couldn't figure it out, he looked at the light screen more seriously. Hinata was watching Naruto's match against Neji. She was so worried the whole time that her old injury relapsed and she even fainted. Thanks to the help of the enthusiastic senior and Bikabuta, Hinata was fine. It's a pity that Hinata didn't get to see Naruto's handsome figure defeat Neji. This guy even turned Neji into a friendly army with his mouth. After the baptism of Kautabuki, Nisha didn't hate Hinata anymore. He evolved directly into a sister-protecting demon, Brotherman. As for the emotional drama between Hinata and Naruto, they have been stagnant since they encouraged each other in the training ground last time. This estimates that it may be because of Hinata's shy personality. She fainted when she saw Naruto, so it can't be developed at all. Later, Naruto followed Jiraiya to practice for 2.5 years. When he returned from his studies and met Hinata again, he frightened her twice in one day, but Naruto still didn't understand why. Hinata almost wrote the words like Naruto on her face, but he couldn't see it. I suspect that this idiot's IQ is all Sasuke's. Sasuke. TSK, what does this have to do with me? If it goes on like this, maybe Naruto will never see that Hinata likes him in his life. Fortunately, not long after, a man who resisted the Japanese appeared in Konoha and helped Hinata create an opportunity to confess. Nagato manipulated Pain's 6 paths to invade Konoha, and finally used a Super Shinra Tensei to raise Konoha to the ground. No matter how many times you watch it, this scene is so shocking. It was not the first time that everyone saw the scene of Nagato raising Konoha to the ground. Every time they saw it, they couldn't help but sigh that the power of this technique was really too great. While everyone was still honestly making hand seals and using the 5 elements escape technique, the power of the Super Shinra Tensei was simply supermodel-like, leading the current environment by more than one level. Fortunately, there are Yahiko and Konan. After Nagato is resurrected, he can be considered half a Konoha person. We don't have to worry about him using the Super Shinra Tensei on the village. I just don't know what kind of expression the 4th Hokage will have when he knows that Konoha has taken in Nagato. What other expression can it be? Looking at Orochimaru, who looked like a happy person, Jiraiya continued nonchalantly. It's nothing more than threatening us to hand over Nagato. If we don't hand him over, he will do something. Will we Konoha be afraid of him? Back then, he took advantage of Minato's sacrifice and Tsunade and I were not in the village to come and blackmail us. This time he dares to get angry, so don't blame us Konoha for starting a war. Jiraiya was full of confidence when he said this. At present, Konoha has sufficient high-end combat power, and its backbone is also at the top of the 5 major ninja villages. He is really not afraid of fighting with Kumogaku. Before, he might have worried that after the 2 villages fought, many middle and lower level ninjas in Konoha would die. But after Kumogaku was plowed by Nagato, Kumogaku no longer had the capital to cause a lot of damage to Konoha. Old man, what do you say? Well, I agree with your point of view. If the 4th Hokage still wants to use gangster methods, then we Konoha will let him know that times have changed. What if Kumogaku joins forces with Iwagakure again? 5-2 together. Glancing at Orochimaru, who was speaking, Jiraiya replied very calmly. Unless Ofunuki has Alzheimer's disease, given the current situation of Kumogaku, he will never join forces with the other side to deal with Konoha. Orochimaru. What if Ofunuki really has Alzheimer's disease? Jiraiya. Then I will send you, this stubborn snake, to deal with Iwagakure village. Orochimaru. I won't go. Jiraiya. If you don't go, I will cut your research funding. Orochimaru. Look at what you said. Iwagakure will definitely not join forces with Kumogaku. Orochimaru, said so. Jiraiya. Shameless. Hearing this, Orochimaru immediately tore off the skin on his face, revealing the face of a strange woman. I'm indeed shameless. Even Orochimaru said this, Jiraiya had to give him a thumbs up. You're awesome. Chapter 264. Clear Intentions. It was here that Naruto returned after mastering the immortal art and fought a battle of the level of immortals with Pain. In the face of such a battle, ordinary teammates would only affect Naruto's speed of drawing the sword, but Hinata still stood up. This was not because Hinata overestimated her own ability, but because of her white eyes. Seeing Naruto being stabbed into the ground by Pain with a black stick, the king of the generation of mouth-to-mouth was almost made to doubt himself by Pain's mouth. Hinata couldn't watch the person she loved in danger. Even though she knew that what she could do is insignificant, she couldn't stop herself from running forward, just like Naruto had saved her regardless of the danger. Sometimes, people's emotions will overcome reason. Hinata. Because I like Naruto the most. This time, Naruto finally understood Hinata's feelings, but the next scene he saw was Hinata being beaten by Pain with Shinra Tensei and Wonksai Bangti in the Hin. Hinata used her newly learned special move, Soft Steps and Twin Lion Fist, but in front of an enemy of Pain's level, she could only do so much. When Hinata tried her best to run towards Naruto and wanted to pull out the black stick from Naruto's body, Pain suddenly exerted his strength and threw Hinata into the air, and then fell heavily to the ground. Naruto was dumbfounded. A girl who was originally so weak actually challenged a godlike powerful enemy for him, while he could only lie on the ground and doubt his life. When he saw Pain insert the black stick into Hinata's body, Naruto could no longer control his reason and began to run away as a tailed beast. Naruto, who lost control and exploded with 8 tails, started a fierce battle with Pain. If his father hadn't come out to touch his head at the last moment, Naruto would have exploded the 9 tails for Hinata's death. On the screen, Hinata was beaten away by Pain again and again, and stood up again and again, trying to help Naruto pull out the black stick stuck in his body. Such a touching and miserable scene made the sentimental Kushina and Yukio shed tears of emotion. Son, if you dare to let Hinata down, I will never forgive you. This time, Naruto did not refute. He just stared at the girl who said she liked him on the screen, and remained silent. Hinata proved with her actions how much she liked Naruto. This degree of love infected Naruto in reality. At this moment, he was also reflecting on himself, and asking himself in his heart, do I really like Sakura? Will Sasuke be involved? As we all know, Naruto in the ninja school had to compete with Sasuke for everything. Sakura liked Sasuke, so he had to chase Sakura, and at the time, he could laugh at Sasuke to his heart's content. Look, the girl who liked you originally, now likes me. Naruto, who was using all his brain power, probably understood. The reason why he thought he liked Sakura was probably because he wanted to suppress Sasuke. This kind of liking was not liking at all. At the same time, it was very unfair to Sakura, Hinata, and even himself. So, why did this happen? Thinking about it, Naruto suddenly turned his eyes to Sasuke, who was looking at the light curtain with relish. Evil Sasuke, it's all your fault. Sasuke. What's wrong with you? Sasuke was also numb. He looked at the light curtain carefully, and was sighing in his heart that Naruto, a fool, would also be liked by such an excellent girl, and then he heard Naruto scolding him. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't think I like Sakura. Whether you like Sakura or not, what does it have to do with me? If you hadn't been against me everywhere, I wouldn't have had the illusion that I liked Sakura. It's you who were against me everywhere, you loser. If the situation on the scene didn't allow it, Sasuke really wanted to beat Naruto up. It was simply inexplicable. Accordingly, Naruto also wanted to beat up Sasuke. Arrogant Sasuke, the last one, the two of them were unwilling to give in, and they started to butt heads. In order to defeat Sasuke, Naruto borrowed some power from Kurama and opened the tailed beast code. Seeing this, Sasuke opened his Sharingan with a yo-ho sound, and at the same time used the lightning shaker to stimulate his body, just to defeat the last one in front of him. Okay, you two stop making trouble for now. In the end, it was Orochimaru and Minato who took action to separate the two, and the matter was settled. Mom, I may be able to feel Hinata's feelings for me. Sitting back in his seat, Naruto's little face was full of melancholy. What should I do? Seeing that her son finally got the hang of it, Kushina was overjoyed, and immediately ignored the fierce battle on the light screen and began to whisper to Naruto about some ways to chase girls. After the battle, Nagato used the reincarnation technique to resurrect everyone. However, Hinata was not actually dead, so she was not resurrected by Nagato, but by Sakura. Tsunade. This girl called Sakura is good at medical ninjutsu. Naruto protected the entire village from pain, and the attitude of the villagers towards Naruto also changed 180 degrees. When Naruto dealt with Nagato's funeral and returned from outside, the whole village gathered at the entrance of the village to welcome this great hero. Hinata was also among them with tears in her eyes. The boy she had liked for many years, the child who was once regarded as a monster by the whole village, is now becoming more and more outstanding. She also wants to continue to work hard towards Naruto's goal. I said so much, did you remember it? Under the light curtain, Kushina taught Naruto many love skills. But some words made Minato, who was eavesdropping, feel that something was wrong. For example, high-end hunters often appear as prey. Hearing this, Minato kept thinking. Was it because Kushina was playing hard to get when she acted so disgusted with him? Minato, what are you thinking about? After Kushina finished explaining to Naruto, she looked up and saw Minato, who was in deep thought. Nothing, I'm just thinking about when to go to the Hyuga family to propose marriage. Dad, don't be so anxious. Naruto swallowed his saliva and looked at Minato embarrassedly. The light curtain is the light curtain. What if Hinata in reality doesn't like me? Not bad, son, you can say this, which shows that you have also used your brain. Minato first praised Naruto, and then discussed with Kushina, and then continued to say to Naruto. Okay, although the probability is not high, what you said does make some sense. Let's put aside the matter of proposing marriage and discuss it after you and Hinata have confirmed your relationship. Now, his energy is focused on Naruto. As for whether Kushina reversed the routine on him, it is no longer important now. Chapter 265. 100,000 White Zetsu 2. 4. I naught T, NYD. Mal/PI. 6 I naught. 6 8 KE. 8 eek. 7 at RET% -L. U wide KAO. Copyright I naught Y $3/4 K. PIE 6. UH. C8TK. In his opinion, these were not cannon fodder enemies, but excellent materials for experiments. He had been using the white zetsu he captured last time carefully, fearing that he would kill them. Now, with so many white zetsu, he didn't have to be so cautious. 100,000 white zetsu, you're really good at hiding. Jiraiya's considerations were different from Orochimaru's. As a Hokage, he had to consider the safety of his subordinates. The combat ability of the white zetsu was indeed not very strong, at most only at the level of a chunin. But he was a good lurk. Fortunately, Konoha now had test strips for detection, which could clearly detect the white zetsu. However, Jiraiya still felt that the number of 100,000 was a bit troublesome. Obito, do you know where these white zetsu are hidden? Probably in the mountain cemetery. Mountain cemetery? Is it in the northern part of the Frost Country? Yes. Why did you think of hiding there? Is there any special reason? The mountain cemetery, located in the northern part of the Frost Country, is a very cold and remote place. It is indeed a good place to hide. However, the ninja world is so large, and there are many remote places. Why did they choose the Frost Country, which is close to the Fire Country? Hearing this, Obito scratched his head. This question was asked to him. This place was chosen by Uchiha Madara, not by him. It is really difficult for him, a poor student, to give a reason. I think it is probably because Uchiha Madara also hid there in the past. Since he didn't know how to explain it, he might as well put the blame on Uchiha Madara. In fact, it can't be considered a blame, because this place was originally chosen by Madara. Uchiha Madara? Hearing this name, Jiraiya nodded. Through several captured white zetsu, they already knew that Uchiha Madara fled to the mountain cemetery and hid after being defeated by the shot Amy. This news is of no use to them. Because the Uchiha Madara of this time and space has long been dead, it is useless to know where he is hiding. But then again, if they knew that it was not only where Uchiha Madara was hiding, but also where 100,000 white zetsu troops were hiding, they might have joined forces with other ninja villages to wipe out these white zetsu. Based on my understanding of zetsu, it must have moved the white zetsu now. Even if you want to take the initiative, you probably won't be able to find them. Really? That's a pity. Orochimaru was very disappointed. He finally found a large number of top-quality consumables and was about to take action to catch a few for experiments. But in the blink of an eye, he heard the news that the white zetsu was likely to be moved, which made Orochimaru very unhappy. He turned to look at Obito and suggested, Obito, can you get the white zetsu's hiding place from Zetsu? Me? Obito pointed at himself in surprise, and at the same time, he thought that Orochimaru might have some serious brain disease. He has returned to Konoha again, and he still expects him to trick Zetsu. Isn't this too much of a disrespect for Zetsu? No, Zetsu is not a human being. It is just the will of Uchiha Madara. I've already thought of a reason for you. Just say you are here to be an undercover agent. Undercover? Can you believe that? It's free anyway, just give it a try. Okay, I'll try my best. A man has to bow his head under the eaves, and Obito had no choice but to agree to Orochimaru's request. Obito, you have to be careful. Hearing Lin's comfort, Obito immediately patted his chest and said confidently, Don't worry, Lin, in this ninja world, when it comes to escaping, if I say I'm second, no one dares to say I'm first. These words made Lin speechless. The only one who can take escaping so for granted and be proud of it in the entire ninja world is Uchiha Obito. Tobirama's office. When he heard that the number of white zetsu was as many as 100,000, Tobirama, like Jiraiya, felt some trouble. Well, it's just some trouble. Not to mention that Konoha now has his elder brother, Tobirama Senju, and his elder sister-in-law Uzumaki Mito, who doesn't have to worry about her health at all and can use the power of the Nine Tails to her fullest. Just the Senju Tobirama can kill all these white zetsu. 100,000 may seem like a lot, but in terms of combat power, they are really not that good. It's just that there are so many of them that it will be a little troublesome to eliminate them all. Brother, how about you go to the mountain cemetery tomorrow and talk to Uchiha Madara? I have no problem, but what do you want me to talk to Madara about? Talk about these 100,000 white zetsu. You want me to get rid of all these white zetsu? That might be a little difficult, Madara will never agree. Not really. Tobirama shook his head and made the same decision as Orochimaru. I need Madara to provide me with white zetsu for experiments. 1, 2, 3 or 4 should be no problem, but you obviously don't just want this number of white zetsu, right? Yes, I need a large number of white zetsu. These white zetsu are excellent materials for experiments. That shouldn't be possible. If you don't have a reason that can convince Madara, from what I know about him, he will never compromise even if he dies. Well, then just say that I won't stop his Moon Eye project. Moon Eye project? Have you guessed the real purpose of this plan? No. Tobirama shook his head, revealed a cunning smile, and continued. Just a trick. What if he agrees? It doesn't cost any money anyway, so let's give it a try. Alright Kimbra. You are worthy at being the second generation who is a top researcher like me. The words you say are almost the same as mine. Okay, I'll go talk to Madara tomorrow, but are we really not going to stop the Moon Eye project? What if this plan is really evil? Before Hashirama finished speaking, Tobirama interrupted him and said, listen carefully, I'm talking about me, not us. Hearing this, Hashirama gave Tobirama a thumbs up without hesitation. When it comes to insidiousness, you're the one who's the most insidious. I'll take this as a compliment. Chapter 266 Hinata's inventory completed. The White Zetsu's ability to hide and lurk made the coalition army exhausted. Fortunately, Naruto returned with the Nine-Tails Shake remote and had the ability to sense malicious intent, which completely eliminated the hidden dangers of the White Zetsu. Later, Naruto and Hinata fought side by side on the battlefield. When Naruto was in danger, it was Hinata who first stood up to protect him. When Naruto lost his fighting spirit, it was Hinata who awakened him with a gentle slap. It's a pity that Neji died in this war to protect Hinata. But if Naruto was depressed because of this incident, Neji's death would become meaningless. With Hinata's encouragement, Naruto finally picked up his fighting spirit and continued to fight the enemy. Finally, in the end, he led the coalition army to victory in the war. Isn't it said that this Neji is the greatest genius in the history of the Hokage family? He died so easily. Neji's death made Jiraiya and others seem a little unreal. It's not that people can't die in war. They were all old men who had come out of the war, so they naturally knew that war was cruel. In war, anyone could die. But, Neji was praised so highly in front of the light curtain, and even the first genius of the Hokage family was praised, but in the end, Neji died on the battlefield. This is more or less funny. I feel that Neji, the genius of the Hokage family, is not worthy of his reputation. Neji is not worthy of his reputation, right? In the branch family with limited resources, he independently explored the Kaiten, which is known as the absolute defense of the Hokage family. In the Chunin exam, his performance was also remarkable. If he hadn't met Naruto, at this point, the Third Hokage glanced at Naruto, and the meaning was simply beyond words. Meeting the male protagonist in Naruto, the child of destiny in the ninja world, it is not an unacceptable thing to lose. Really? That's a pity. Fortunately, the real ninja world is different from the ninja world on the light curtain. It is not certain whether there will be a fourth ninja world war. After all, hearing this, everyone looked at Obito again. After all, the successor of Uchiha Madara, the mastermind behind the Akatsuki organization, and the initiator of the fourth ninja world war, all ran back to Konoha. In addition, Kabuto Yakashi, who resurrected a large number of powerful people during the fourth ninja world war, is still staying under Orochimaru's command. The Fourth Ninja World War is probably not going to be fought. Not necessarily. Isn't the Zetsu who is said to be the incarnation of Uchiha Madara as well hiding somewhere in the ninja world? And there are 100,000 white Zetsu, which is a hidden danger. Haha, it depends on Obito's acting skills. See if he can get the information about the white Zetsu's hiding place and trick Zetsu into coming to Konoha at the same time. I'll try my best. For a moment, Obito was in a state of panic. Just when everyone was putting pressure on Obito, Kushina, who was becoming more and more satisfied with Hinata, found that her son was a little depressed. What's wrong, son? Neji is dead. Neji is dead. That Hokage genius Neji is dead. Silly son, maybe he would have died in that war in the original trajectory, but in reality, he might not have died there in the Fourth World War. I know, Mom, but I felt very sad when I saw Neji die to protect me and Hinata. It's normal to feel sad. Kushina gave Naruto a loving hug and continued, how about calling Neji to our house tomorrow and we can have dinner together? Mom, that's a good idea. Yeah, call Hinata along too. Well, let's continue watching the light screen. Although Hinata was just a little transparent person with little presence at the beginning, the character itself is alive. She will grow and gradually take root. Her ninjutsu is just like Naruto, she keeps her word and never gives up. Her dream is to become like Naruto and become the person she likes. Maybe her strength cannot become as strong as Naruto, but her heart has already become extremely strong. Hinata grew from a timid and lacking self-confidence little girl to an excellent ninja who can stand on her own. In the process of growing up for many years, Naruto and Hinata have been encouraging and supporting each other. When Hinata was depressed, it was Naruto who gave her a sense of security. In turn, when Naruto was confused, it was Hinata who gave Naruto new hope. Whenever Naruto needed company and encouragement the most, Hinata would always appear by his side. This girl with a weak appearance, with her gentleness and firmness, built a spiritual harbor for Naruto, helping Naruto dispel the darkness and haze in his heart, and moving step by step towards his dream not far away. At the end of the story, this long unrequited love finally blossomed and bore fruit. Just with Hinata's perseverance, even if Naruto was a real stone, he would be softened. You two are so sweet. When the wedding of Naruto and Hinata appeared on the screen, everyone present immediately smiled like an aunt. Just as Yuichiro said, this couple is so sweet. Ha, my stupid son finally got married. Will I be a mother-in-law soon? Who is the happiest about Naruto and Hinata's marriage? Of course, it is Minato and Kushina as their parents. But compared to Kushina's straightforward and fiery personality, Minato's temperament is undoubtedly much calmer. Although he is also very happy to see this scene of Naruto's marriage, he will not laugh as wildly as Kushina. Naruto, you can't let Hinata run away. Naruto, who was blushing at the wedding on the screen, had to say it this time. Don't worry, Dad, I know what to do. Huh? Do you really know what to do? It's not that Minato looks down on Naruto. In his opinion, his stupid son was a big idiot in love. Although Kushina taught Naruto the ways and methods to pursue girls, Minato still didn't think highly of him. You're so long-winded. With a chuckle, Minato didn't continue to tease Naruto, but happily looked at Naruto and Hinata in wedding clothes on the screen with Kushina. What's wrong, Tsunade? Are you thinking about Kato-dan? On the side, Orochimaru noticed that Tsunade's expression was a little wrong, and immediately whispered, if you want, I can secretly help you revive Dan. Tsunade sorted out a mood, looked at Orochimaru in confusion and asked, would you be so kind? After all, we are partners who grew up together. How can I bear to see you sad alone? Tsunade smiled disdainfully, really? I don't believe it. Don't worry about whether you believe it or not, just tell me whether you want to revive Dan. It was beyond Orochimaru's expectation. He thought Tsunade would struggle for a while before making a decision. In the end, Tsunade just glanced at Jiraiya who was grinning, and shook her head at him. Forget it, let him die. Are you not trying to take care of that idiot's feelings? Who knows? Because there are too many overlaps in the plot between Hinata and Tonari, I will leave it to the time when I review Tonari equals. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 267. The shorter version high-profile angle. Hinata's situation has been roughly reviewed, and now it's our Haruko's turn. I've reviewed Kakuza before. Kakuza can take other people's hearts because of the Earth Grudge, and while he has 5 lives, he can also use all 5 basic escape techniques. Haruko can be said to be a high-profile character. Kakuza uses 5 escape techniques, but he uses various bloodliner limits. Did I see it wrong or did I misunderstand it? Various bloodliner limits. This various should not be what I thought, right? The review of the second half began, and everyone's emotions quickly withdrew from the sweet love between Hinata and Naruto. However, at the beginning, there appeared a word that Jiraiya couldn't believe, which made him feel bad. Don't fool yourself, it should be what you think. Compared to Jiraiya's disbelief, Orochimaru was much more excited. He was originally studying how to achieve the situation where multiple bloodliners appear at the same time in that clone. With his talent, it was very difficult to do this kind of research. After spending several months, the research results can be said to be better than nothing. The conflict between bloodliners is too strong. He has used various means, but has not been able to resolve this conflict. The clone can only have a bloodliner limit. And this bloodliner limit cannot be too strong, such as Uchiha Sharingan, the first generations would escape, etc. Once the bloodliner is too strong, the clone will not be able to withstand the collapse. Unless the cells of the bloodliner owner are used for cloning. But in that case, the cloned body is the body of the bloodliner owner, which is not suitable for his own use. In this regard, adhering to the principle of better to have nothing than to have something bad, Orochimaru has not changed his body until he has cloned a satisfactory clone. Now, when the research has reached a bottleneck, a person like Haruko who was almost forgotten by him appears. He hopes to find a way to break through this bottleneck in Haruko. Old classmate, please don't let me down. Haruki, this character is the idiot boss in the Firewall Inheritors Grand Theater. As a classmate and friend of the three ninjas, he was not willing to accept that his talent was inferior to the three ninjas, so he began to secretly develop forbidden ninjutsu. As we all know, among the three ninjas, only Orochimaru liked to use this kind of ninjutsu cheats, but Haruki's behavior with Orochimaru was earlier than Orochimaru himself. Not long after, Haruki's little move was known by the Third Hokage, and he could only slip away and become a traitor. Haruki was very unwilling to not get the popularity of the three ninjas. After learning that Kakashi inherited Obito's bloodliner limit Sharingan in the Ninja War, he realized that other people's bloodliner limits could also be used to improve himself, so he began to take advantage of Kakashi's popularity and vowed to become a big internet celebrity in the ninja world. At a certain time, he found Kakashi, who was only in his teens, and left a puppet spell in Kakashi's body to control his behavior for future use. It seems that Obito is still an uncle who knows how to be patient and foresighted. What? Everyone exclaimed, not knowing that Kakashi was actually cursed by Obito. Let me see. Anyway, Tsunade and Kushina came to Kakashi very quickly. The former began to check Kakashi's body, and the latter began to check whether there was really a puppet spell on him. This thing is actually a more advanced curse seal. Before it is activated, it is like nothing happened to the person under the curse, and simple treatment and physical examinations cannot detect this thing. For ordinary ninjas, this thing is still quite tricky. However, in front of Tsunade, the medical saint, and Kushina, the master of sealing techniques, the puppet spell is not enough. Soon, the two finished the inspection and concluded that Kakashi did have a puppet spell on his body. What do you think, Kakashi? Do you want to remove it now? Kakashi hesitated for a moment, and then replied, don't rush for now, let's talk about it after watching the light screen video of Akumaja. Okay. Kakashi was not in a hurry to remove the puppet curse. Among the people present, except Tsunade and Kushina, Jiraiya and Orochimaru could also remove it. There was no need for him to rush. It would not be too late to remove it after watching Akumaja's video and knowing his purpose. After putting a puppet curse on Kakashi, Akumaja went dormant and began to continue his research. Many years later, he successfully studied Kyomaru and absorbed the bloodliner limits of the masters of the four major ninja villages, Ikang, Kari, Nakayoshi, and Troy. He was ready to pull Kakashi to do a ceremony to absorb Kakashi's bloodliner limits and enter the realm of immortality and invincibility. At this time, Konoha had changed dynasties, and the timeline was the period when Naruto practiced the Rasengan Shuriken and beat Kakuza. Tsunade, the female classmate of Haruko who used to have a little story, also became Hokage. Bang. What do you mean by used to have a little story? I don't have any story with Haruko. It can be seen that Tsunade was very angry. Not only did she smash her seat with one punch, she also called herself old lady. You should know that Tsunade hates people saying she is old the most. It is conceivable how angry she was, and she was almost confused. Okay Tsunade, you still don't understand the video review for the first time. The Uchiha who made the video sometimes has some bad tastes and likes to tell some jokes that make people laugh and cry but are harmless. Yes, Tsunade, Uchiha likes to make such jokes very much. For example, he also said that he let Fudan drive a blood donation car, let Fudan go to the women's bathroom, and Kakuza threw shurikens at the first generation from 800 miles away, etc. Seeing that Tsunade was angry, Orochimaru and Jiraiya hurried to persuade her. It would have been better if they didn't persuade her. Once they persuaded her, Tsunade became even angrier. She ignored Orochimaru, grabbed Jiraiya by the collar and yelled, "Jiraiya, you bastard, my innocence is harmless to you." Her. Jiraiya was numb, just like he had eaten several kilograms of pepper, he was numb enough. When he was trying to persuade Tsunade, he didn't realize this at all. Fortunately, he reacted quickly enough, and immediately held Tsunade's hand that was grabbing his collar with both hands, and said affectionately, "How could it be, in my heart, you are the most important." Originally, Jiraiya couldn't say such words to Tsunade anyway. But isn't this an emergency? When Tsunade gets angry, she doesn't care what the occasion is, she will really beat people. Jiraiya didn't know how many times he had been beaten by Tsunade since he was a child, and he was beaten badly every time. In order to avoid being beaten, he said this sentence in a hurry, trying to disgust Tsunade back. You are really disgusting. The fact is just as Jiraiya expected. Tsunade was successfully disgusted by him, and she let him go and walked over to Orochimaru. Tsunade, you're not in a good state. Orochimaru stood up, consciously gave the chair to Tsunade, and stood beside her. Stop talking nonsense, just watch your light screen video and leave me alone. Hilly. Orochimaru smiled slightly and didn't say anything else. The person in charge is confused, while the bystander is clear. He had a hunch that maybe soon, he would be able to eat the wedding candy from these two old friends. Many readers are talking about Hinata's appetite. It's not easy to insert it in the inventory, and I will definitely write about this aspect later. Chapter 268 Jiraiya. Is Oboro's brain broken? On this day, Haruko did not forget to look younger and turned on the beauty filter. He also made a holographic projection above the 5 major ninja villages, shouting in a very arrogant and domineering manner. Haruko. I am Haruko, the idol trainee of Konoha. I have absorbed the blood limit of the masters of the 4 major ninja villages. If I absorb the last one, I will be invincible and launch the 4th Ninja World War. This time, Haruko has not yet become invincible, but he has declared war on the entire ninja world. Very arrogant, very peaking, Obito said it was good when he saw it. Is Haruko's brain filled with water? Why is he declaring war publicly? Looking at Haruko's behavior on the screen, Jiraiya held his forehead and said he was very speechless. He has a bad brain since he was a child. You know that. Tsunade's impression of Haruko was only average, and they were just ordinary friends, but after the teasing it up, she immediately became disgusted with Haruko. Tsunade. What level are you? You dare to have a scandal with me? Don't you know how to write the word death? Hiruzen. What are you talking about? I don't know. By the way, there is another person here who is not smart enough and wants to start the 4th Ninja World War. Hearing what Orochimaru said, everyone turned their eyes to Obito again. Alright, you guys. I admit that my brain is not very good. Obito's lips moved. He wanted to refute something, but he didn't say it in the end. It can be seen that he seems to have accepted his fate. No matter what these people say to him, he accepts it. Anyway, they won't kill him, so what's there to worry about? Just start. Obviously, Obito's attitude was unexpected by everyone. They thought that Obito would refute it like the last few times, but he didn't expect him to admit it directly this time. There is no fun at all, it's really boring. Tobirama, do you think our Konoha has bad feng shui? In Tobirama's office, Senju Hashirama scratched his head and said to his younger brother, Look, the famous villains in the time and space of the Third Hokage all have some inextricable connection with our Konoha, such as Nagato, the leader of the Akatsuki organization, who was Jiraiya's disciple. There are also a few ninjas who were even from our Konoha, such as Uchiha Itachi, Obito, Orochimaru and this one in front of us, Obito. By the way, in the plot of Naruto, Sasuke is also a rebel ninja, right? You don't know until you think about it, and you'll be shocked. Are there so many rebel ninjas in the Uchiha family? Hearing this, Tobirama hadn't said anything, but Uchiha Kagami on the side replied awkwardly. I'm sorry, Shotami, I will restrain my people. Haha, Kagami, I'm not talking about you, don't take it to heart. The Shotami laughed, then turned his head to look at Tobirama. Brother, you missed one person. If nothing unexpected happens, Madara is the biggest villain in the ninja world, and he is also a traitor to our Konoha. So, is the feng shui of our Konoha bad? There are so many traitors. How about we move the village? Don't be ridiculous. Not to mention that our time and space have changed so much, whether there will still be so many traitors, just the energy and money spent on moving the village, as well as the time it will take, have you calculated all these? Upon hearing this, Hashirama Senju's brain was about to explode, and he immediately said in a dishonest manner, Why should I calculate? I'm not the on-duty Hokage. Aren't these your jobs? Upon hearing this, a big well-shaped figure appeared on Tobirama's head, and he replied stiffly, I won't move the village. If you don't want to move, then don't. Why are you so fierce? Tobirama. One night, Obito quietly activated the puppet spell on Kakashi. Because Haruka was a traitor who left Konoha and persecuted the bloodline ninjas of other major ninja villages, Tsunade was suspected by the daimyo of planning a coup, and the other major villages also entered a state of preparation for war. When Tsunade was at a loss, Kakashi took the initiative to volunteer and said that he was favored by Haruko, the old Biden, and would be the last ninja to be sucked. He asked Tsunade to cast a spell on him, and when Haruko breathed himself, he could exchange 1-for-1. After careful consideration, Tsunade agreed to this 1-for-1 plan for Hatake. After that, Kakashi moved uncontrollably towards Haruko. So that's it, Haruko wants to absorb the Sharingan in Kakashi. Seeing this, everyone knew what Haruko wanted to do. Through the secret technique of Kigura, absorbing the 5 bloodliner limits, he reached the point of being invincible and immortal. But everyone was confused. Whether absorbing the 5 bloodliner limits can meet the requirements of Haruko, but his act of declaring war on the ninja world is really puzzling to them. Even if he wants to declare war, wouldn't it be better to wait until he has absorbed the bloodliner before declaring war? He has to declare war before he succeeds. Maybe it's really as Jiraiya said, Haruko's brain is broken. If that's the case, then it's better not to remove my puppet spell first. After Haruko activates the puppet spell, we can take this opportunity to find him. Okay, let's do as you said, Kaka. Instead of sending out ninjas to find him, it's more convenient for him to expose his whereabouts. Naruto took the members of Team 7 to stop him, and Tsunade sent people to intercept Naruto. So the highlight of the whole story, a beautiful big sister appeared. As Haruko's female subordinate, this big sister with a domineering figure and beautiful appearance is also a summoned beast trainer who uses a whip. She can use Kigura to combine with summoned beasts and evolve into beastmen. The battle scene was so turbulent that it made people's blood boil and they couldn't stop. On the other side, Kagura secretly adopted Tsunade's Hatake 1-for-1 plan to stop Naruto. It's very strange here. The ninjas from the 2 villages gathered together, but they didn't follow Kakashi's moving route to wipe out the villains, but insisted on making things difficult for Naruto. Gaara blocked Shikamaru and then blocked Shikamaru, and forced Naruto not to stop Kakashi's 1-for-1 fire will. Seeing that he couldn't get rid of it, Naruto began to use his mouth-to-mouth trick. Naruto. No one knows the fire will better than me. Shikamaru was shocked for a whole year after hearing this, and then he let it go immediately. Naruto. Do you know what the king of mouth-to-mouth trick is? Tactical retreat. At this time, there is still half an hour left in the theater, and Haruko has not even had any presents. This makes people suspect that Gaara and others' behavior of stopping Naruto is actually a waste of time. Naruto's mouth-to-mouth is really a bit outrageous. The focus is not on Naruto, but on Kakashi, right? I don't understand, Kakashi, why are you so persistent in making a 1-for-1 exchange? Not to mention that the people present didn't understand, even Kakashi himself didn't understand. Sorry, I don't know what I think on the screen. I originally wanted to post a picture of a female subordinate, but it didn't pass the review. Chapter 269. Death of Baileyu. Kakashi thought about it, but he couldn't understand his own thoughts. In the end, he could only say, maybe I don't want to see too many people sacrificed. After thinking about it, Kakashi could only think of this. According to the written strength, Haruko has 4 bloodliner limits, plus he declared war on the big ninja villages at the same time, so his strength must be extremely strong. Under this premise, it is understandable that Kakashi wants to sacrifice himself in exchange for the safety of the ninja world. You are not the Hokage, it is not your turn to worry about the safety of the ninja world. Hatake Sakuma was very dissatisfied with Kakashi's choice. Father taught me that. Kakashi understood his father's thoughts, and at the same time felt that his behavior on the light screen was stupid, so he did not argue with Sakuma. Even if you want to sacrifice, you have to marry a wife and have a child first. Kakashi didn't want to talk at all. He was also embarrassed to be urged to get married by his father in front of so many people. Subconsciously, he looked at Lin. Asshole, what are you looking at? Seeing Kakashi's eyes looking over, Obito was like a wild cat eating and saw a thief who was about to steal its food. He was so angry that he protected Lin behind him. I'm looking at a handsome guy. Obito didn't expect Kakashi to say this. He stuttered as he was about to say it. Even if you say I'm a handsome guy, I won't. I think you misunderstood. Kakashi interrupted Obito and pointed at Ashuma, who was in the same direction as Obito, and said, I'm talking about Ashuma. Ashuma. Her. Asshole Kakashi, you teased me again. Haha, you took the initiative to deliver yourself to me, so you can't blame me. Lin, who was protected by Obito behind him, covered her mouth and laughed happily when she saw the two bickering like they did when they were children. After waiting for a long time, Bro finally waited for Kakashi to arrive. As soon as they met, they couldn't wait to take off their pants and began to absorb Kakashi. As expected, during the absorption, he was caught by Tsunade and was sent to another dimension by Kakashi's main Kyuman summons technique. Obito. That's my Sharingan. Fortunately, when Naruto rescued Kakashi, Obito was also rescued, announcing the failure of Kakashi's extreme one-for-one plan. After being rescued, this guy knelt on the ground and began to breathe heavily, while thanking Naruto. The foresight before the relationship was all fake. With such a scheming mind, where did he get the courage to provoke the Fourth Ninja World War? After thanking, he realized that he had failed to absorb Kakashi, and immediately began to be incompetent and furious, and took off his clothes and changed his style on the spot. Wrapped in a mummy strip, he also took off his mask to reveal his big cracked mouth. Usually, once the villain becomes ugly, he is not far from death. He summoned his subordinates to hold back the ninjas who came to support him, and then used Storm Release to perform a copycat version of Karin, shooting lightning to control the whole scene. At the same time, he used the absorption ability of Dark Release to instantly kill all of Naruto's shadow clones and Rasengan. On the screen, Haruko opened fire at full power, and a huge dark cover emerged from his body. As soon as this cover appeared, it began to spread in all directions. Wherever it passed, Naruto's shadow clones that were condensing Rasengan were instantly turned into smoke. Haruko's strength looks good. Instantly killing hundreds of Naruto's shadow clones, the power is indeed good. The more Orochimaru looked at the light screen, the more interested he was in Haruko's Kaimaja no Jutsu. It is impossible to say that his plan to allow clones to have several bloodliness will depend on this Kaimaja no Jutsu. Jiraiya. Speaking of which, when fighting against Hirohoku, why were there only people from Konoha and Sand Village, but also people from the three major ninja villages of Kamugaku, Kirigaku, and Iwagaku? The same question was asked by the little Jiraiya in Tobirama's office. Is it strange? Hirohoku is a traitor from Konoha after all, so of course we have to deal with him ourselves. Hashirama Senju's words were very general, and in order to prevent the little Jiraiya and others from not understanding, Tobirama Senju continued. Such renegade ninjas will more or less know some information about their own villages. In order to prevent other ninja villages from knowing this information, the major ninja villages have tacitly established an unspoken rule, that is, whoever's renegade ninja is killed will be dealt with by themselves. Even if there is an unexpected situation, other ninja villages kill renegade ninjas from another ninja village. When others ask for the renegade ninja's body, they will generally give it to the other party instead of leaving the body and reading the information in the brain of this powerful person. Such behavior is considered a provocation by other villages. Unless they want to find a reason to start a war, they will not do this. I understand. The other three ninja villages in the light curtain should not want Konoha to misunderstand, so they didn't help, right? Well, there is actually another possibility, that is, they want to see Konoha and Haruko both lose, so that they can reap the benefits of being a fisherman. I understand. Haruko's powerful strength left a very strong impression on Naruto. In the subsequent battle, the two fought very fiercely. Until our brother Kakashi activated the passive. It's a 50-50 fight against anyone. Kakashi, who activated his passive skill, was so fierce that he held Haruko back for a while. Naruto instantly disappeared into the clouds and used a cheat that dropped from the sky, called the movie Unfair Snakeskin Wind Style Raisen Shuriken. According to the setting, although this move is powerful, it is still a wind style at best. Haruko could breathe in his advanced bloodliner limit without a hiccup, but he couldn't breathe in his soul style by force and was beaten back to his original form by the Shuriken. It was really outrageous. Kakashi went up and held Haruko up at this time. When a man is about to die, his words are also good. The dying Haruko said that he had never learned this sentence and said to Kakashi, I just want to use your Sharingan to achieve immortality. What's wrong with me? Translation means that Kakashi only lost his life, but I, Haruko, lost my happiness. Obito. I say it again, that Sharingan is mine. After finishing the job, he whitewashed himself again, and then Akubo died in Kakashi's arms. Akubo's death seemed a bit hasty. The last villain that they felt died hastily was Sasori from the Akatsuki organization. Is this a victory for the protagonist's halo? It's a bit ridiculous that the dark release can't absorb the wind release. If you really want to explain it, it can be explained. At this point, Jiraiya cleared his throat and continued, everyone knows that the Rasengan Shuriken is a very powerful ninjutsu that can directly attack human cells, and the dark release can only absorb the chakra of ninjutsu that can attack human cells, so it makes sense that the Rasengan Shuriken can't absorb it. After Jiraiya finished speaking, Orochimaru continued. At the same time, the amount of ninjutsu chakra absorbed by the dark release in a short period of time is not large. The chakra used by the Rasengan Shuriken is not only huge but also very violent. It's actually quite reasonable that a Kunoki can't absorb it all at once. Under the forced explanation of Jiraiya and Orochimaru, a Kunoki's death was not particularly ridiculous. Anyway, as long as it makes sense, it's fine. Regarding Ikan's question, there will be an explanation later. Chapter 270. Something went wrong with the impure world reincarnation. In fact, the ability setting of Haruko is quite interesting. Similar to Kakuza's ability to absorb 5 hearts of different attributes, Haruko also absorbs 5 blood limits. Storm Release creates thunderclouds as an offensive means, Steel Shield plagiarizes Kakuza's Earth Spear, Swift Release speeds up, and Dark Release absorbs ninjutsu chakra and can counterattack. And as long as you absorb Kakashi and achieve 5 blood limits, you can get true immortality. Haruko's face after taking off the mask is even more similar to Kakuza's. The character's fate copied Orochimaru. He also likes to do research, likes young men with Sharingan, and is obsessed with the young state of the flesh. So, Haruko is a bleached stitched monster that is a combination of Orochimaru and Kakuza. At the end of the video, a friend of mine wants me to ask for him if there are any powerful viewers who know the story of the Tamer sister. If there are, please send me a private message, thank you. Don't tell me, Haruko really looks a bit like a combination of Orochimaru and Kakuza. After the video was played, everyone looked at Orochimaru with a playful look. Yes, he does look a lot like me, but I want to emphasize that I am much more beautiful than him. Orochimaru laughed and ignored the playful looks of the crowd. Instead, he affirmed that Haruko looked a lot like him. Apart from anything else, the fact that Haruko could perform a forbidden technique like Kibara was enough to win Orochimaru's respect. Of course, respect is respect, but this does not prevent Orochimaru from coveting Kibara and wanting to snatch this technique from Haruko. Seeing that there was no fun with Orochimaru, everyone stopped looking at Orochimaru. At this time, Tsunade stood up and wanted to leave the office. Tsunade, where are you going? Tsunade looked at Jiraiya who had finished speaking, pointed at the light screen and said, hasn't the video on the light screen finished playing? Why am I staying here? The video has finished playing, but the light screen hasn't finished yet. What do you mean? Wait a moment, maybe you can see the first and second generations in a while. Grandpa and second grandfather. Hearing that she could see the first and second generations, Tsunade sat back down and gave Jiraiya a look. If I can't see the great-grandfather and second grandfather in a while, I'd better watch out for your ribs. Jiraiya also gave Tsunade a look in return. Don't worry, you'll definitely see them. Not letting everyone wait too long, the video call between the two time and space was successfully connected. Second grandfather. As soon as the appearance of Senju Tobirama appeared on the light screen, Tsunade immediately stood up and walked quickly to the front of the light screen. Oh, it's Tsunade, you finally decided to go back to Konoha. Hearing the words of her second grandfather on the light curtain, Tsunade blushed for a rare moment, and then turned to Jiraiya and asked, what's going on? Why did the second grandfather appear on the light curtain? The communication time of the light curtain is limited. If you want to know, go ask the old man or Orochimaru. Jiraiya had just finished speaking when Senju Hashirama came over to join in the fun and appeared on the light curtain. Oh, it's Tsunade, you're a big girl too. Grandfather, okay, Tsunade, you step aside first, we have something to discuss with the 5th Hokage. Okay then. Tsunade reluctantly gave up her position and returned to Orochimaru. Tell me, what's going on? Okay, it's actually very simple. While Orochimaru was explaining to Tsunade, the 5th Jiraiya also agreed with Senju Tobirama on the time of the crossing, and also told Senju Tobirama that they had obtained a Samsara Rinnegan. Talk to Orochimaru and ask him to extract some cells of the Rinnegan. I will take them away when I come over. Does the Nadami want to clone the Rinnegan? I have no intention of cloning the Rinnegan. At present, Orochimaru and I cannot even clone the main Kim Sharingan. At most, we can only clone the 3 Magatama Sharingan, and we cannot restore the ability of the 3 Magatama Sharingan 100%, let alone the Rinnegan. Both Orochimaru and Senju Tobirama have done a lot of experiments on the cloned 3 Magatama Sharingan. They found that the cloned 3 Magatama Sharingan is weaker than the original Sharingan. It is in an awkward situation that is slightly stronger than the original 2 Magatama and slightly weaker than the original 3 Magatama. At the same time, if you want to use the clone Sharingan, if you don't have Uchiha bloodliner, you can't turn off the Sharingan state. They won't transform themselves into a half-human and half-ghost like Danzo did. In this way, these cloned 3 Magatama seem to be useless. Okay, if you have anything to say, we can talk after we travel through time. That's it. The light curtain disappeared completely, and everyone left the office. In order to avoid being fooled by Orochimaru, Tsunade asked Jiraiya and the old man of the 3rd generation again. The answer she got was the same as what Orochimaru said. The light curtain can connect the 2 ninja worlds of different time and space. If she hadn't seen it with her own eyes, Tsunade really couldn't believe that such an incredible thing would happen. In other words, in 2 days I will be able to see the great-grandfather and the second grandfather with my own eyes. To be more serious, I will see the 1st and 2nd generations of another time and space. TSK, what's the difference? They are all my grandfathers anyway. Looking at the happy Tsunade, Jiraiya was in a good mood too. In order to make Tsunade happier, he found Orochimaru and asked, when can you revive our 1st and 2nd generations? I just wanted to find a time to tell you about this. Orochimaru frowned and continued, in fact, I have already prepared clones of the 1st and 2nd generations, but, just what? It's just that I found that I can't use the impure world reincarnation technique to revive the 2. What do you mean you can't revive them? Didn't you revive them once during the tuning exam? Yes, so I'm wondering why you failed this time. Jiraiya was confused, and Orochimaru was even more confused than him. He didn't just revive the 1st and 2nd generations, but also Uzumaki Mito, Uchiha Kagami, and Akimichi Tofu. Recently, he even failed to revive Danzo. This situation made Orochimaru feel very puzzled. When the 2nd generation comes, you can have a good talk with him and see if he has any good ideas. That's the only way. It was a dark and windy night, and it was time for everyone to go to bed. Still in that secret cave, Haruko looked at the body of Ikan lying in the magic circle, his face extremely excited and fanatical. The first step to my success is to start with Scorch Release. Carry, Rock Ninja, but in the comics it is Explosion Release, and in the movie version the ability is Steel Release. Ikang, Sound Ninja, in the comics it is Scorch Release, and in the movie version the ability is Speed Release. Nikayoshi, Mist Ninja, in the comics the ability is Perception Ninjutsu, and in the movie version the ability is Hell Release. Trioi, Cloud Ninja, in the comics it is Magnetic Release, and in the movie version the ability is Storm Release. According to my understanding, the movie version should be a parallel ninja world, so Ikan and others have different bloodliness. But Haruko has appeared, so we can't talk about the parallel ninja world. In order to make it logical, I can only slightly modify Kiyomaru's abilities so that Haruko's abilities are the same as in the movie version. Chapter 271 The Changing Mindset of Bloodliner Naruto. The technique of Kiara is very special. The primary use can fuse the summoned beast with one's own body, and the advanced use can even fuse the bloodliner limit. Bailu has no interest in fusing summoned beasts. As the person who successfully studied the technique at Kiara, his goal from beginning to end was to fuse the 5 bloodliner limits. It's just that there are some difficulties in fusing bloodliner limits. For example, it must be fused at a certain time and place. It's not that it can't be fused at other times, but the difficulty will be epic. Unless the luck is really against the sky, the fusion will definitely fail. And the end of failure is death. Today, Bailu finally waited for the time to fuse the bloodliner for the first time. Looking at Ikan's body lying in the magic circle, Bailu's face was extremely excited and fanatical. My first step to success is to start with the burning release. After saying that, Bailu activated the magic circle and began to fuse the burning release in Ikan's body. Speaking of Ikang, Bailu was also lucky. That year, he escaped from Konoha village and hid in the land of water. He happened to see Ikan being ambushed by the Karigaku ninja. As the saying goes, wealth and honor come in danger. Taking advantage of the Karigaku ninja's unpreparedness, Hyrule took the opportunity to take Ikan's body and ran away. Perhaps because Ikan's death had been confirmed, the Karigaku ninja did not make any trouble. After symbolically chasing Hyrule for a while, they returned to the village to report. In this way, Hyrule took advantage of Ikan's body while it was still warm and quickly used some means to preserve Ikan's body. After many years, the body still retains the freshness of the original death, and does not feel like an adult corpse at all. This undoubtedly increases Hyrule's success rate of fusing blood. Earlier at the beginning of fusing blood, Hyrule felt an unprecedented pain. This pain came not only from the body, but more from the soul. It was as if someone put his and Yikan's souls in a container and began to stir them frantically. But at the same time, Beiliu could also feel that he seemed to be getting better and better. As time went by, the pain became less and less, and the comfort became more and more. When the last trace of pain left Beiliu, he knew that he had succeeded. Ha ha. On the ground, Beiliu, who was sweating profusely, was panting heavily, greedily breathing every breath of air. This feeling is really great. Clenching his fists, Beiliu felt that he had never felt so good before. After lying on the ground for a while, he stood up immediately with excitement. He couldn't wait to experience the feeling of burning escape. He closed his eyes and carefully experienced the new ability that appeared in his body, and then he began to clap his hands as if he had a sudden inspiration. Scorching escape. Oversteaming this move is Yikan's signature ninjutsu. Once this move is used, several fireball-shaped objects will appear around the caster. Once they touch the opponent's body in close combat, they will evaporate the moisture in the opponent's body and turn it into a mummy. Unfortunately, this move was not used by Beiliu. Others clap their hands and get whatever they want. He clapped his hands, and nothing happened. Strange, this shouldn't be the case. Is it because I'm using the wrong ninjutsu? Scratching his head, Obru's small eyes were full of confusion. Fortunately, he didn't get discouraged, and he cheered up and tried a few more times. Then, all failed. Why, I obviously succeeded in the fusion, why can't I use the scorch release? Obru roared to the sky. If he could sing a poem of this moment, it would better reflect his mood at the moment. Forget it, this time it's a fusion failure. Next, I'll let Zetsu do his best and let him capture the rest of the Bloodliner Limit ninjas for me. Fuse a few more times, I don't believe it will be like this every time. After adjusting his mentality, Obru wanted to go back to sleep. But when he started to walk, just when he took a step, his figure seemed to be out of control, and he rushed out with a whoosh and hit the mountain wall heavily. Obru. Did your kidneys get rubbed against stones? The bruised and battered Beiliu first looked around calmly, and when he found that no one had seen his embarrassment, he immediately showed a painful expression. It hurts so much. Fortunately, after the fusion, Beiliu's tolerance for pain has increased a lot, and he soon recovered. That scene just now. Was it swift release? After calming down and thinking carefully, Beiliu soon realized it. The Bloodliner Limit he obtained after fusing with Yikan was not Scorch Release, but Swift Release. Why is it Swift Release instead of Scorch Release? Beiliu couldn't figure it out for a while. He could only blame it on the Kiomura technique. After all, this technique was too mysterious and weird, and even he didn't fully understand it. Anyway, it's a good thing. At least it proves that this technique can really fuse Bloodliner limits. That is, the Bloodliner limits after fusion may change. Well, it's not a big problem. Let's just use Swift Release. Maybe I can get the title of Silver Flash in the future. I have to say that at this time, Haruko's mentality is really good, not at all like the arrogant and stupid guy in the movie. The sun rises and the moon sets, and it's noon the next day in a blink of an eye. Konoha village is as lively as ever. Naruto also called Hinata and Neji to his home for dinner according to Kushina's instructions. There was also a small episode during the period. Because Naruto called Hinata first, and then the two end to find Neji together. As a result, when Neji knew that Hinata would go to Naruto's house for lunch today, before Naruto opened his mouth to invite her, Neji took the initiative to say that he wanted to go with Hinata. Then he protected Hinata behind him without leaving any trace, not giving Naruto any chance to take advantage. Although Naruto had no intention of taking advantage, he was embarrassed after seeing Nishi's behavior. Hinata blushed and almost fainted. Seeing this, Nishii directly carried Hinata on his back and walked to Naruto's house first, which made Hinata return to normal. Eat more, you are growing up, you can't be hungry. When it was time for dinner, Kushina served Hinata with a smile on her face, fearing that Hinata would be hungry. Hinata was embarrassed to live up to Kushina's kindness. She ate as much as Kushina served. It was not until Naruto served the rice that he realized that such a big bucket of rice was gone without knowing it. Mom, why is there no rice? Impossible, I specially cooked 10 servings of rice today. Hearing Naruto's words, Kushina thought her son was stupid again. After punching Naruto, she opened the lid of the rice bucket and found that there was indeed no rice. Sorry. Did I eat too much? At this time, Hinata raised her hands tremblingly, her face flushed with embarrassment. No way, Hinata, can you eat so much? Before Kushina said anything, Naruto immediately shouted in surprise, which made Hinata even more embarrassed. Idiot. After punching Naruto again, Kushina turned to Hinata with a smile and said, "It's okay, auntie, there is still a lot of rice here, eat as much as you want." After that, she looked at Mineta, who was eating slowly. "Mineta, go to XX's house in the east of the village and buy some food. That house is too far from our home. Don't you have Flying Thunder God? There should be the Flying Thunder God mark you left in the east of the village. You want me to use Flying Thunder God to buy food? Why, it's not possible." Okay. Putting down the bowl and chopsticks, Mineta used Flying Thunder God and disappeared with a whoosh. "Hey, I think this trick of Dad is very practical. I can use this trick to deliver food when I am short of money in the future." Hearing this, Neji immediately gave Naruto a thumbs up. As expected of Naruto, you actually came up with the idea of letting the Ondami use Flying Thunder God to deliver food. I think you are the only one in the village who has this idea. Really? Ha ha ha, Neji, you're really flattering me. Kushina covered her face, she was really a little embarrassed. Chapter 272. Legends of the Takeaway World. Mineta felt that he had underestimated the appetite of his future daughter-in-law. He had used Flying Thunder God to make 3 consecutive trips, and each time he brought back 5 servings, which added up to 15 servings. In addition to the 10 servings of rice cooked by Kushina, most of which went into Hinata's stomach. He really couldn't understand how such a little girl could eat so much food. "I'm full." When Hinata swallowed the last bowl of rice, she was embarrassed to continue eating. In fact, she usually wouldn't eat so much. It's not that she can't eat, but as the eldest daughter of the Hyuga family, she has to maintain the demeanor of a chop family. It may be that Kushina's care reminded her of her mother who had passed away many years ago, and she ate so much without realizing it. "Mineta, hurry up." Kushina's eyes were sharp, and she saw at a glance that Hinata was lying, and immediately turned around and began to instruct Mineta to continue buying food. No, I've eaten enough." Hinata quickly spoke up and stopped Mineta, who was about to use Flying Thunder God to leave. "Okay, Mom," Hinata said, she doesn't want to eat anymore, don't force her. Hearing this, Kushina rolled her eyes without any image. If she'd forcing Hinata, it's obviously Hinata who hasn't eaten enough. If it gets out that her future daughter-in-law didn't eat enough on the first day she came home, how can she put her face? "Mineta, what are you waiting for? Hurry up, I must make sure Hinata eats enough today." "Okay, I'll go right away." Mineta shuddered, and then disappeared with a whoosh. Seeing Mineta leave, Kushina nodded with satisfaction. "Poor Hinata, you have never eaten enough in the Hyuga family, right?" Kushina, who was born in the Uzumaki clan, knew that for the so-called family honor, there are a lot of rules to break. It's not bad. Hinata naturally wouldn't say that she had never eaten enough at home. But Kushina would definitely not believe what she said. "Nanji, you are Hinata's brother, you have to fulfill your responsibilities as a brother." Huh. Neji didn't expect Kushina to bring up that topic with him. "What? Hinata has such a big appetite, she will definitely not be able to eat enough at the Hyuga family. When you are free in the future, you will be responsible for sending her here, understand?" I know." To be honest, Neji didn't expect Hinata to have such a big appetite. He and Mineta had the same doubts. How can such a small body eat so much food? But when Neji thought of Hinata not being able to eat enough at home, he felt very distressed. Now that Hinata has a place to eat as much as she wants, Neji is also happy for her. It's the clan leader's place. "It's okay, I'll let Mineta negotiate with him. I'm back." As soon as Mineta was mentioned, Mineta walked in with a big food box. I have to say that the Flying Thunder God technique is really convenient. After Mineta ran 5 times, Hinata, who felt full for the first time in her life, smiled happily under the gaze of Kushina and others. After Hinata, Neji and Naruto left, Mineta said while cleaning the table. "It's not easy, Kushina, you don't know that the boss of 20 family thought that my family was having a banquet. It's not easy for Hinata either. She is not without talent. She is obviously too hungry to have any strength. Even so, she has learned the twin lion fist that only the main family can do. If she is full every meal, what will happen?" At this point, Kushina suddenly became a little depressed again. "What's wrong, Kushina?" "Nothing." Kushina shook her head. She was just wondering if she and Mineta could feed Hinata every meal with their ability to make money. She couldn't count on them here. Neither the 3rd generation nor the 5th generation Jiraiya would let her go out of the village to do tasks. She could only take some low-level tasks that could be completed in the village. She didn't even look down on the reward for such a mission, so she didn't go and steal the food from those genin. The same is true for Minato. Although he is very powerful and is the fourth Hokage, there are really not many missions suitable for him. Moreover, those high-paying missions have a long execution cycle and face the possibility of mission failure. If you really want Hinata to have a full meal every day, there is only one way to do it now. Minato, why don't you deliver food? Minato. Time passed quickly, and a few days passed in the blink of an eye. During these few days, Minato and Kushina went to the Hyuga family and met Hinata's father, Hyuga Hayashi, who was also the patriarch of the Hyuga clan. The two sides had a pleasant conversation about Hinata and Naruto. As for what they talked about, others didn't know. They only knew that from that day on, Hinata would run to the fourth Hokage's house from time to time to eat. At the same time, an extremely brutal guy appeared in the takeaway industry. This masked man directly took over half of the takeaway business of Konoha village, which was so terrifying. The Sanmi and Jiraiya personally asked about Minato's delivery. They originally thought that Minato had encountered something and needed money, and they wanted to lend him some money to help him get through the difficulties. After asking, they found out that the root of the problem was Hinata Hyuga. This made them not know what to say. They just felt that Hyuga Hayashi was not a human being. Even if he liked his younger daughter, he couldn't abuse his older daughter. Hayashi. I don't know. In the end, after the Sanmi and the fifth Jiraiya personally visited, Hayashi knew that his eldest daughter was so good at eating. In order to feed Hinata, the fourth Hokage of Konoha village went to deliver takeaways. This is really ridiculous and outrageous. For the face of the Hyuga family and the face of the village, Hayashi decided to donate a sum of money to the village every month. It is called supporting the development of the village. In fact, it was the food money for Hinata. It was under such circumstances that Minato retired from the food delivery industry after running food delivery in disguise for a few days and leaving behind a series of legends. From then on, there was no longer the figure of the masked lightspeed food delivery man in Konoha village. Very good, you are worthy at being Naruto's father, your ideas are unique. How did you come up with the idea of using Flying Thunder God to deliver food? When Tobirama Senju brought Hashirama Senju and others to the time and space of the Third Hokage, he couldn't help but sigh when he knew that Minato actually ran to deliver food. It's true, like son, like father. Well, if I say that the reason why I go to deliver food is to practice for the advanced training of Flying Thunder God, I wonder if you believe it. Ha, fourth generation, you are really interesting. Hashirama Senju laughed and patted Minato on the shoulder, and the topic was over. Okay, time is limited, so everyone should do what they should do. Chapter 273 How to Deal with Uchiha Madara. Senju Tobirama was still the same, and went to the laboratory with Orochimaru. Senju Hashirama played cards, dice, and Peiga with Tsunade. As for the others, they also had their own activities, so I won't go into details here. Is this the Samsara eye? In Orochimaru's laboratory, Senju Tobirama looked at the Samsara eye in a small bottle and raised his eyebrows. Yes, this is the eye of the legendary six-path sage. It's still a legend, this eye is obviously Uchiha Madara's. This is just a guess. Orochimaru was right, they didn't have direct evidence to prove that this Samsara eye was Uchiha Madara's. It was just a guess based on the clues given by the light screen video and the behavior of Uchiha Madara in Tobirama's time and space. Don't be serious with me first, are the Samsara eye cells I asked you to prepare ready? Of course. Orochimaru smiled slightly and clapped his hands lightly, and Yakushi Kabata immediately walked in from outside the room with a small bottle. Lord Orochimaru, here's what you want. Give it to Tsunade-sama. After handing the thing to Senju Tobirama, Kabata Yakushi did not leave, but stood behind Orochimaru, looking at Senju Tobirama with curiosity. As far as he knew, the village had not resurrected the second Hokage yet. So, where did this second Hokage in front of him come from? Kabata Yakushi. Have you learned the fairy technique? Yes, Tsunade-sama. Senju Tobirama nodded, picked up the small bottle and took a look, then said to Orochimaru meaningfully, are you sure it's okay? On the surface, Senju Tobirama was talking about the Samsara eye cells, but in fact, he was talking about Kabata Yakushi. As for Kabata, although the live screen video has not counted him yet, from the inventory videos of others, Senju Tobirama knew that this person was definitely a dangerous person. If he was not dangerous, he would not have sent out so many ninjas from the impure world to help Obito fight the fourth war. Don't worry, Tsunade-sama, there will be absolutely no problem. Orochimaru knew what Tobirama was talking about. But he was confident that he could manage Kabuto Yakushi. He was not the kind of person like Danzo who liked to kill the donkey after it had done its job. As long as someone was useful to him, he would not let the other person die before the last bit of value was exhausted. Toss, King, and Sat during the Chunin exam were no longer valuable to him, so he sent them to Konoha as cannon fodder. And Kimimura's corpse veins were very valuable to him, so he would do everything he could to keep Kimimura alive. Similarly, as long as Kabuto Yakushi did not die, then Yakushi Nono would always be valuable to Orochimaru. As long as he controlled Yakushi Nono, Kabuto Yakushi would never dare to resist him. As long as you think it's okay. Since Orochimaru was so confident, Senju Tobirama didn't say anything else. He put the small bottle containing the Rinnegan cells into the ninja tool bag, and then went to another experimental room with Orochimaru. Kabuto Yakushi did not follow. At this moment, his heart was still beating nervously. As smart as he was, how could he not hear what Tobirama Senju said to Orochimaru? But why? Why are the second and third generations so hostile to me? This is what Kabuto Yakushi can't understand the most. It was okay before, and this hostility was not so obvious. But since he returned from Raichi Cave, this hostility has been very obvious. If it weren't for Orochimaru protecting him, perhaps the Third Hokage and others would have attacked him long ago. This is really puzzling. In another room, Orochimaru pointed to several large glass jars and told Tobirama Senju about the difficulties of adding multiple blood limit experiments, and said that he had reached a bottleneck here. Tobirama Senju thought this was normal. After the two discussed this for a while, they heard Orochimaru talk about another thing. There is a question that I find very strange. Oh? What is it? Tell me. During this period of time, many things have happened here. I'm going to revive the first and second generations of this time and space. I have prepared the clones, but the impure world reincarnation itself cannot come out. The impure world reincarnation cannot come out. Hearing this, Senju Tobirama was also confused. He invented the impure world reincarnation technique. As long as there is a pure land in the ninja world, it is possible that the impure world reincarnation cannot come out. Tell me in detail. Then, Orochimaru told Senju Tobirama all the causes and consequences, wanting to use his wisdom to solve this mystery. Wait a minute, tell me the names of the people who failed in the impure world reincarnation. Okay, these people are Hashirama Senju, Tobirama Senju, Mito Wazumaki, Danzo, Kagami, and Tofu. That's them. Do you think that the people who failed in your impure world reincarnation were all us who traveled through time and space to your time and space? Now that the second generation said that, it seems to be true. After being reminded by Tobirama Senju, Orochimaru finally reacted. That's right. Aren't these people who failed in the impure world reincarnation are Tobirama and others who traveled through time and space to their time and space? But what does this prove? Why would people like you who traveled through time and space, my impure world reincarnation counterpart in this time and space, fail? I don't know why either. I'm afraid it will take a long time to solve this problem. If the problem can't be solved, it will be too difficult if we really have to face Uchiha Madara in the future. As everyone knows, only Hashirama Senju can defeat Uchiha Madara. Even though Konoha is at the top of the ninja world, Orochimaru still has no idea how to face the legendary Shura of the ninja world. Don't worry, we will help. As long as Konoha can hold on for a certain period of time until Tobirama can cross over, he will bring his elder brother Senju Hashirama to support. And our stay is enough to solve the problem of Uchiha Madara. Even if he can't solve it with force, Tobirama still has a second plan. Before leaving, he also gave Orochimaru a hint. You must make good use of this samsara. What did the second generation say? Don't blame Orochimaru for not reacting. He is really researching too many projects here, and each one takes up a lot of his energy. Every moment, his brain is running at high speed, so it is normal to react a little slower. If the samsara really evolved from Uchiha Madara's eternal mange Kim Sharingan, then strictly speaking, this eye is not his. Nadami-sama, you mean Uchiha Izuna? Yes, that's what I meant. Haha, thank you Nadami-sama for reminding me, it really helped a lot. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novel, as there you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 274. Hashirama awakens the Sharingan. Brother, what's wrong with you? After returning to his own time and space, Senju Tobirama had not had time to go to the laboratory, but he saw Senju Hashirama with his head down, looking listless. It's hard to explain. Senju Hashirama waved his hand and didn't say anything to his younger brother. There was no way. Senju Tobirama had to look at Uzumaki Mito. Sister-in-law, do you know what's wrong with your brother? Ha ha ha. Unexpectedly, Mito didn't reply immediately after hearing the words, but laughed without any scruples. Your brother is really funny. He wanted to teach Tsunade a lesson with gambling skills, but he was taught a lesson by Tsunade instead. No way, brother, you can't even beat Tsunade. Senju Tobirama seemed very surprised. Whether it is Tsunade in this time and space or Tsunade in the third generation of time and space, their gambling skills or gambling luck are terrible. In the time and space of the third generation of Hokage, Tsunade also has a beautiful reputation as a big fat sheep in the casino. From this title, we can see how bad Tsunade's luck in gambling is. Even so, can't my elder brother beat Tsunade? I was just careless for a moment. I will definitely win back next month. At this point, Hashirama immediately raised his head and cheered himself up crazily. Brother, your eyes? When Hashirama raised his head, Tobirama realized at this time. His elder brother had awakened the Sharingan without knowing it. Damn. The people of the Senju clan awakened the Sharingan. Is this a moral decline or a distortion of human nature? Did the Senju clan cheat, or did the Uchiha clan cheat? Well, it was actually the Uchiha Madara cells in Hashirama's body that took effect. It seems that you care a lot about losing to Tsunade. No, Tsunade is my granddaughter, why would I mind losing to him? Hashirama laughed and refused to admit that he minded losing to Tsunade. Tobirama didn't expose him either. Anyway, the Sharingan has been awakened, so whether you mind or not, everyone can see it. Brother, try to advance the Sharingan to the main Kin as soon as possible. You don't have the Sharingan, even if I advance to the main Kin, I can't advance to the Eternal Eye, do you want me to go blind? After saying that, without waiting for Tobirama to reply, Hashirama shook his head and said, forget it, I'm going to play with Tsunade. You are so childish, Tsunade can't win the bet, so she goes to bully Tsunade. Looking at Hashirama leaving, Mito couldn't help but complain. Tobirama, if there is nothing else, then I'll go. Okay, sister-in-law. After Mito and others left, Tobirama sat in the office chair, thinking in his mind whether he should inject some Uchiha cells into his body. Just like what the eldest brother Hashirama said. Even if he advances to the main Kin, what will happen? If he doesn't advance to the eternal main Kin, he is doomed to be at risk of blindness. Wait, blindness. At this time, Tobirama remembered that Obito could use the power of the main Kin without restraint because he had Hashirama cells in his body. In other words, Hashirama cells can ignore or improve the consequences of decreased vision after using the main Kin. Let's talk to Big Brother about this when we get home tonight. He couldn't stand most of the people in the Uchiha family. But he had to admit that the main Kin Sharingan was really powerful. Especially the Susanoo, which could attack and defend, and was very practical. As long as Big Brother's Sharingan was upgraded to the main Kin level, Uchiha Madara would be completely unable to make any waves. Do you know the power of the Susanoo Buddha? With the main Kin Sharingan, Hashirama Senju doesn't need to cooperate with others, and he can put a layer of attack and defense as shell on the Buddha. At the time, even if Uchiha Madara used the Samsara Eye, it would probably be useless. From Nagato, we can see that the power of the Samsara Eye is actually just like that. Among the 6 paths of pain, only the heavenly path, which can use the full power of the Shinra Tensei, and the hungry ghost path, which can absorb ninjutsu chakra, can attract his attention. The other 4 paths are all garbage. The animal path, which can summon a large number of summoned beasts. The Shira path, which has strange strength and can launch missiles. The human path, which can read memories and extract chakra. Finally, there is the hell path, which can revive the other puppets. It's not surprising that Tobirama looks down on these 4 paths. It's just that after knowing the intelligence, these 4 paths are really too easy to target. The Samsara Eye is Uchiha Madara's eye. Nagato must not be very easy to use. Maybe the Samsara Eye has a special eye technique that I don't know about. But even if that's the case, with the power of the wood release and Sharingan of my eldest brother, it shouldn't be a big deal. Besides, who said that you need to fight Uchiha Madara head-on? Thinking of this, Senju Tobirama came to the laboratory in a flash. He took out a small bottle of Samsara Eye cells from his ninja tool bag and whispered, I don't believe that after resurrecting Izuna, Uchiha Madara will dare to attack Konoha. During the time and space of the Third Hokage, Uchiha Obito was in pain and happiness. He was in pain because he had a lot of endless tasks waiting for him every day when he got up. There was no way, he had to pay for the wrong things he had done in the past and work hard to make money to resurrect the Uchiha clan and those who died in the Nine Tails Rebellion. He was happy because most of the time, Lin was with him to do tasks. This gave him more time to spend with Lin. If possible, he would like to continue like this. As long as he can be with Lin, he is full of motivation no matter what he does. Unfortunately, the third and fifth generations Jiraiya and others urged him to contact Black Zetsu as soon as possible to find out where the 100,000 white Zetsu are. For this reason, Obito could only leave Konoha with tears and start to go out of the village to look for Black Zetsu. He said he was looking for Black Zetsu, but in fact he was looking for white Zetsu lurking in various places in the ninja world. He didn't know where Black Zetsu was, but white Zetsu certainly knew. In an underground gold exchange, Obito easily found a white Zetsu hiding there and knew the current location of Black Zetsu. Not long after, he came to the cave where Black Zetsu and Haruko are hiding. Hey, isn't this the traitor of the organization, Uchiha Obito? Are you taking a whip to the top of the mountain? What do you mean? What a twitch. As soon as he saw Obito, Black Zetsu couldn't help but be sarcastic. With its half-white and half-black image, the term sarcastic seemed to be tailor-made for it. First of all, Zetsu, you have to call me Uchiha Madara. Secondly, who told you that I betrayed the Akatsuki organization? Thirdly, even if I betrayed the Akatsuki organization, so what? Don't forget Zetsu, what is our ultimate goal? Don't say it, because wearing a mask prevents others from seeing his expression. As long as he doesn't reveal too obvious flaws, he is still very good at bluffing. Look, Obito's righteous words made Zetsu doubt his betrayal. Chapter 275 Black Zetsu decides to give Obito another chance. In fact, Black Zetsu doesn't care whether Obito betrays Akatsuki or not, as long as Obito can be a good tool for the Moon Eye plan. It's just that in the past few months, Black Zetsu found that Obito's mind was getting less and less focused on the plan, so he forced Nagato to start the Tailed Beast capture plan in advance. But Nagato was also a disappointing guy, and he only captured 6 of the 9 tailed beasts. Seeing that the organization was about to be destroyed by the coalition of the 5 major ninja villages, it had no choice but to attack Nagato and take back Madara's Samsara Eye. It didn't expect that Nagato had a trick up his sleeve and hid a Samsara Eye in advance. Moreover, the cooperating Haruko didn't listen to it very much. He didn't want the Samsara Eye when he was given it, saying that external things were unreliable and people must rely on themselves. Damn, what he said about relying on oneself is to take away other people's bloodliner limits for his own use. Is this called not relying on external things? But it's also true that after he merged the bloodliner was indeed his own. To a certain extent, what he said was really right. Black Zetsu is a little tired. All the tools are so disobedient. If it weren't for saving his mother, he really didn't want to do it. You have to believe me. I have never forgotten the plan from beginning to end. Then tell me, why did you go to Konoha? Of course I went to Konoha to be an undercover agent. Undercover? Yes. Seeing that Black Zetsu looked a little unconvinced, Obito couldn't help but complain in his heart. Don't say you don't believe it, I don't believe it either. But even if he complained, Obito wouldn't be stupid enough to say it out loud. Think about it, the Akatsuki organization has been destroyed. If we want to continue to implement the plan, which force in the ninja world is the strongest and most likely to stop us? Konoha. Yes, it's Konoha. Obito gave Black Zetsu a thumbs up and continued, the reason why I returned to Konoha is to gain their trust, so that when you implement the plan again, I can get the information at the first time to inform you. Obito, who has been an actor for many years, is worthy at being a little nervous at first. He spoke more and more smoothly, and he almost believed that he was an undercover lurking in Konoha. What do you say about Nohara Ring? Can you really bear to let her go? Black Zetsu knew that Obito's weakness was Nohara Ring. It was he and Uchiha Madara who designed it together to let Obito see Nohara Ring die at the hands of Kakashi, so that he could open the main Kim Sharingan. From the results, this design was very perfect. It not only achieved its own goals, but also strengthened Obito's motivation to complete the plan. At the time, Obito, in order to create a world with Ring, was so active that even Black Zetsu had to say, "What a good employee." So it was very curious. If it was really as Obito said, he was just an undercover in Konoha, then what was his plan for Nohara Ring? Obito was prepared for this. Everything in the fake world is fake. As long as we complete our plan, the world will be perfect, and Rin will not have to continue living in this fake and dirty world, but will live with me in the perfect eternal world. Hearing this, Black Zetsu thought to himself, sure enough, the Uchiha people are all sick, and they are all seriously ill. A good real world must be said to be something fake. A truly fake world is regarded as a perfect world. This is really a serious disease. What? I fooled all of this? That's fine. Okay, then I'll believe you for now. Seeing that Obito was sincere and that the undercover thing made sense logically, Black Zetsu finally decided to give Obito some trust in the end. After all, it really didn't have much manpower to use. Although there are many white Zetsu, they can't hide in Konoha because of the white Zetsu test strips. After finally hiding in the middle or lower ninja, they will be detected by the test strips in a short time. The current test strips are not as infrequent as they were a few months ago. With Orochimaru's continuous research and simplification, the current test strips are produced to the extent that they can be distributed to every ninja for free. It's so terrifying. Of course, it's still very simple to let white Zetsu possess civilians. No matter how much the test strips are produced, they are not luxurious enough to be used by civilians. But possessing civilians has no effect. Except for occasionally issuing some cheap tasks to contact ninjas, it is very difficult to contact ninjas at other times. This is also one of the main reasons why Black Zetsu was willing to trust Obito. It needs intelligence from Konoha very much. You have been undercover in Konoha for a while. Do you have any information to tell me? Having initially gained the trust of Black Zetsu, Obito was not in a hurry to ask about the hiding place of white Zetsu. You can't eat hot tofu in a hurry. Only when Black Zetsu completely trusts him, it will be a good time to ask white Zetsu where he is hiding. As for how to make Black Zetsu trust him quickly, of course, it is to betray Konoha's information. Some insignificant information can be told to Black Zetsu to gain its trust. I was originally a traitor to Konoha. It will take some time to gain their trust, but I am not a fool. After my investigation, I found that Konan is living in Konoha village. Konan? Yes. No wonder, I sent so many white Zetsu, but I couldn't find her trace. I didn't expect her to be in Konoha. This makes sense. Konan is not the main target of Black Zetsu. Its target is the Samsara Eye hidden by Nagato. A Samsara Eye is not unusable, but it will increase the burden on the user. After knowing that Konan is very likely to go to Konoha with the Samsara Eye, Black Zetsu temporarily gave up the plan to retrieve the Samsara Eye. Zetsu, you're back. Is this the Uchiha Madara you told me about? Following Zetsu into the cave, he bumped into Haruko who had just finished his research and was about to go back to the house to rest. At a glance, Obito recognized who he was. I just watched a video review about Haruko, and it's hard to forget him. Especially Haruko's long flowing white hair, which is rare in the entire ninja world. Pretending not to know Haruko, Obito maintained the style of Madara and did not reply, but nodded calmly. TSK at this time, Haruko had already merged the second blood limit, the Dark Escape, and was very proud of himself. Seeing that Obito's disguised Uchiha Madara was very arrogant, he disdained to use his hot face to stick to the other party's cold butt. Even if the other party was the legendary Uchiha Madara, it would not work. I'm going to rest first, don't call me for anything. Seeing Haruko leave, Obito looked at Zetsu and said, is this the replacement you found? End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone, see you in the next video.